Start with David Drone. Yeah.
Hey, this is your Sheriff Gordon Smith coming to you live with On the Spot with Dave Rogers and his team here tonight. A lot of questions out there of what's going on in our community.
Right.
So tonight we give an opportunity for those members of our community to reach out, ask the questions. As you follow us live, you have a question you have in this room after we were all thoroughly checked, passed our examination, temperature check, and the questionnaire. That's the reason why we have a little more than 10 in the room tonight, but we've all cleared our check. Nobody got turned around at the door.
Right.
I still want to announce to everybody there are no confirmed cases of coronavirus within Bradford County. We have had 4 people, I believe, that have been tested. All 4 have come back negative. That's a positive. We're doing what we're supposed to. But in this room with you tonight is somebody representing or the elected official themselves from all departments throughout the county. From our school superintendent to our supervisor of elections, we have a representation for our clerk of courts. We have everybody that is here. We have Ben with us. I can tell you, representing emergency services. Those people have been busy. We have Miss Rachel Roden with us from our county manager's office. We have the city of Stark. We have the clerk, Ricky Thompson's here with us. As I'm looking around the room, we have our new city manager that is here with us. We have all areas. We have Miss Teresa.
Right.
Gaskin's here. She is here representing her office, and they got a lot of stuff going on, so we got to get on her soon.
Right.
A lot of things chasing on there that's going on. So I want to thank Dave and your crew for coming out tonight and doing this for us. We're sharing it.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
asking you. I'm encouraging. Please ask those questions. I do want to give you a few quick updates. Each and every day, our emergency management division, Wendy Russell, she comes out and she gives us a situation report. This is our 3rd situation report, kind of updating some things. And I know something, I've already received a few phone calls in regards to the governor's last order that came out around 1:30 today. And it says, section 2 of this new executive order, updating, as they're changing things. This is executive order number 20-71. You can find it online, 20-71. Section 2 says restaurants and bars. I do hereby order all restaurants and food establishments licensed under chapters 500 and 509 Florida statutes within the state of Florida to suspend on-premise food consumption for customers. No more than 50%, y'all. It's none. Notwithstanding the foregoing, such establishments may operate their kitchens for the purpose of providing delivery or takeout services. Employees, janitorial personnel, contractors, and delivery personnel shall be allowed access to such establishment for the purpose of delivery or takeout services. This section amends and supersedes Executive Order 20-68. Section 3 says gyms and fitness centers. This directly affects me. I do hereby order the closure of gymnasiums and fitness centers within the state of Florida. I know that disappoints a lot of you out there, as it does me. This order shall not apply to gymnasiums and fitness centers which are amenities of hotels which have a capacity of 10 persons or less, or amenity of a residential building, or interior to any fire or police stations, or located inside any single occupant office building that are owned. Within Bradford County, our last update, county local state of emergency declared was done March 17, 2020. The national state of emergency declared on March 13th. The city of Stark local state of emergency declared March 17, 2020, and the city of Lawdy local state of emergency declared March 19, 2020. The question has been asked, what does this mean for our communities? This allows for our residents that are seeking reimbursement for job loss, those type things. One of the first questions you're going to get, has there been a local declared state of emergency? For businesses that they're losing business. This affects our community. This affects our economy. It directly, when you go to apply for assistance through the Small Business Loan Association, it's going to ask you. And you can get these orders from our local, we can get it from our county manager's office, we can get it from our clerk of court, get copies of that local emergency that's been enacted when you go to apply for these small business grants or loans that are out there. It's here, remember, that they're there for you to have access to. Lately, the City of Stark City Hall lobby closed to the public. Drive-through service will still be available. City of Stark Electric suspending disconnection on past due accounts until further notice. Thank you to the city manager and and the clerk and, you know, the mayor. I talked to him early this morning, working on that and what to do. The city, Clay Electric is suspending disconnection on past due accounts effective March 17th to April 15th. Florida Power Electric suspending disconnection on past due accounts through March 30th. All county fire departments are closed to the public. I know a lot of people like to go up there, get their blood pressure checked, those type things, EMS, they're closed. We're trying to keep our people that are serving you safe. All bars and nightclubs closed per governor's order. All county parks remain open with the exception of the suspension of baseball league activity. All on-site dining restaurants closed with the exception of takeout or delivery service per the governor's order. With that, I'm going to leave it open to you, Dave.
Okay.
Something you'd like to ask? We've had any questions come in, or if you'd like to speak to some of the other officials?
We have, Sheriff, and I just want to thank everybody that's tuning in right now. We got a lot of viewers on right now asking several different questions. Again, you're on the spot with David Rogers. To my left right here is my co-host, Mr. Mitchell Gunner. Producing the show, doing a great job tonight is Mr. Dave Holland. And we're here live at the EOC here at the Bradford County Sheriff's Office. And Gordon, I want to thank you and your team and all these esteemed colleagues that are here with us tonight to help answer any of the questions that our great citizens of our community want to ask. And I do have one right here. This comes from Michelle Triplett, and I think you just answered this, Gordon, just a little bit. She said, what is the likelihood of all restaurants that don't have delivery options being closed until the situation is more under control?
And I'll be honest with you, it's scary to me. It affects our community in such a harmful, it's the economic damage that's being caused right now to our community. As we rely on those tax dollars, they bring a lot, they serve a lot of people as their livelihood. A lot of the small restaurants, I can tell you, like the Downtown Grill, Call Street Cafe, I can't name them all, I'm going to miss some.
Sure.
Our House, all those are working on ways to delivery to your home. Now remember, if you're a restaurant like Laredo's, I was speaking with someone there earlier representing them. You know, they're like, you mean we can serve? Yes, you got to follow the rules. You can serve the alcohol and have it delivered as long as someone, you know, it's packaged and the person you deliver to proves ID. You got to have your ID there to have it delivered to you. That's something new to me, y'all. That's a new twist. We're all getting through this together. You know, we're not in panic. We're going to get through it. I'm a true believer in that. We have a great, resilient community, but we all right now have to work together, support our local businesses. Right. I'm asking you, support our local businesses. You know, it's the Strawberry Festival didn't happen. Go buy strawberries from your strawberry distributors. These people are taking a financial impact. If you need fresh fruit, go to your local produce stands. Look these people up.
I got you. That's a great answer and a great question there by one of our viewers here. And if I could, Gordon, just for a second to update everybody, this is up to date right now. Coronavirus cases around the world, 272,806 as we speak right now. 11,313 deaths. We have 90,000 of those and 622 of those people that has recovered. So you can see that the numbers just keep growing. I know that our president and his staff are working on trying to get some kind of vaccine, some kind of help to us as well. Y'all have all seen the newscast that he's brought that he comes on with, and I believe that. Sooner, I'm hoping, than later, that we get some kind of resolve to this.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm going to tell you, the way we host meetings, open meetings now, has been changed by the order of the governor. How we're going to do that, we've got to work through it with our IT departments, like at the county level, with their IT department, how we're going to host these meetings via teleconference and all those type things the governors make, but there's still certain rules in place. We're in open sunshine. We have one of the most open, broadest sunshine laws in the country. So that we got to make room for that, but at least our commissioners, to make these important decisions, our boards that represent our communities can still hold meetings for emergency and get things done during this time, because we don't know how long it's going to last.
We know, and you're right, we don't. Here's another question, Gordon, for any of the esteemed colleagues in the room that we have, and we've got several of them here, and we're going to go through all their names here in just a little bit as they get up to speak. But Darlene Eaton said, do we need to make sure all of our cars are gassed up as of this point right now?
Right now, no, do not panic.
Exactly.
I'm concerned because you look at the stores. I've seen more pictures of shelves and empty toilet paper things and empty food shelves and all over the community. Don't panic, people. Essential services are still going to be provided by your local restaurants, your local grocery stores, your local Winn-Dixie, your local Walmart, your local CVS, Walgreens. These services are still going to be provided. You know, the truck drivers are working relentlessly. They've reduced the restrictions, released some of the restrictions on them to be able to get this stuff. It's just people are panicking and buying. If you watch Facebook long enough, you'll tell who's got the next order of toilet paper on the shelf. It's out of hand. The gas stations are going to remain open. You know why they're going to remain open? We got to keep people moving.
Right.
We got to keep the trucks up and going.
Right.
They're getting, think a truck driver. If you hadn't thanked one lately,
Oh my God,
I
yes.
can get mad when they tailgate me or something, cut me off. You need to be thankful. These people are working a lot of hours to get this stuff.
And also our railways. How about the rail cars that are still running through?
I appreciate it a lot more lately. I mean, get that stuff to distribution. And I love it. So they're working on it. Please don't panic with the gas and stuff. We don't need to start that. It's going to be there, and there's going to be gas at the gas station.
I got a question from April Fishburne. Do you know if the salons are going to stay open? But I think that as long as they're only 50% capacity,
We have no
they can stay open.
no order on salons. Matter of fact, I need a haircut. If y'all see me up there, what little bit I got left, I do need a haircut. I promise you, Dave. And of course, he's out working. The guy that cuts my hair. But what I'm telling you is, when you right now, I can tell you, deputies, Chief Johnson's policeman, Chief Bennett's policeman in Lawdy, we're not going into a hair beauty salon and counting the people sitting in there.
Right.
Use your senses. Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. It's kind of like the 3 amens after prayer. Get your hands, keep them clean, remember where you're at, keep your social distance, be mindful.
Right.
Be respectful, be mindful, people. I know we're Bradford County. We're into handshakes and hugs.
Yes, we are.
And we're a close community. But we need to be mindful of what situation we're in right now. And the more we work toward this, the sooner we get over this.
Right.
So we need to be mindful of that in regards to it.
Again, you're on the spot with David Rogers. We're live here at the EOC room here at the Bradford County Sheriff's Office. We got Sheriff Gordon Smith, who opened up our show today and is asking questions for you right now. We've got, like I said, several of our elected officials and esteemed colleagues here. But I want to keep going with the questions, Gordon, because we said when we was going to do this that we were going to try to answer every question that we can. If we don't have the answer, I guarantee you somebody here will have it. Or if we don't, I know you'll research it and we'll get them the answer just as quickly as possible. But I do have a question from Eddie Sigmund, and he said, what is being done regarding as the shelves start to get filled at our Winn-Dixie and our Walmarts? And the food supplies, as he said, that we're experiencing about hoarding. What are we going to do in that case? In other words, if all of a sudden we see a rash of people starting to grab the hand sanitizer like they did before the toilet paper.
I can tell you, all the local stores, my son just went in and he said they let me get 2 meats.
Right.
A lot of these stores are doing it themselves to ration them. They're not letting you get so many. You watch Facebook, you can see a lot of comments in reference to it. I think these retail establishments, our local businesses have really stepped up, put things in order. They're making things for early hours for just those people with special needs can get in and get what they need, kind of give them a special time where the store's not as crowded. They can get in and get out. They're limiting certain products and supplies. And through technology now, you're trying to scan it up there and you go to self-checkout because I got 5, I'm only supposed to have 3. They've got technology out there now to keep you from doing that. So that has a lot to be said.
He wants to know if law enforcement is going to get involved in any way. I know you sort of answered that question there a little bit. He wants to know.
And you know what, Eddie, we hope we don't have to get involved. If
Right.
we're called upon, we will act. I can tell you that we haven't had many of those type calls right now. We really haven't. Even with all the kids home and families together, we haven't had a lot of those type calls. We're fortunate.
Well, you're one of your biggest fans, Noah Gibson, says, hey, Sheriff, I've got one for you. He says, does that mean I can't get a Polar Pop now?
Well, we all need a Polar Pop.
Yeah, we all need a Polar. You can still get that.
We do. I mean, it's,
but you can't refill it.
Can't refill it right now.
No, you can't refill that cup.
You cannot refill the cup because they don't want you using that same cup going back. I never thought about it, but it really makes a lot of sense. If you've seen some of the people at work, they use that same cup over and over.
Yes, they do.
I've seen some go up there and go, ooh. I don't think I got a drink out of that. People are, we're doing common sense things that we never really thought of, we took for granted. Now we're having to pay attention.
I got one from Lisa Smith. She wants to know, are the liquor stores gonna close?
I've heard no, I've heard a lot of my friends, so hope not. But what I'm saying is right now, no, there's been no order. Well, the governor signed the executive order, said, you know, these restaurants that serve already can make those deliveries as long as the person who receive it in produces an ID. You know, I'd recommend them photograph it so nobody can say nothing, protect yourself, and do that. And don't go to places you're not real sure of. You know, they're trying to make ways for our people to still make a living, y'all, but it's gonna be hurtful.
All right, I got you. One question for from Ashley again, and I can go ahead and answer this for you because the sheriff has already answered it. Are the hair salons going to be closed right now?
No.
No, as of right now, no. Get a haircut.
Go see your local beautician or barber, please.
All right. If I could get Miss Teresa Phillips to come up, yeah, come on, yeah, you stay there with her. If I get Miss Teresa Phillips to come up, I do have a question, and I'm sure you're going to get into a couple of things as well. But if I can ask you a question right off, this is Carlton Jones asking this question. He said, Miss Teresa Phillips, just purchased a used mobile home. When do we tag and tax it?
Well, normally you would go ahead and do it within your 30 days, but right now, you're not gonna have to do that.
Okay.
There's not been an order from the governor yet, but we are actually gonna close our doors come Monday. I had my doors closed, but we were working out of 2 windows and trying to wait on people and then screening the ones that needed to come in.
Right.
And letting everybody do that, but now we're gonna quit that on Monday. We have surrounding counties that have actually closed their doors, and we're waiting on more out-of-county people than we were our Bradford County people. What we want everyone to do is to go on our website, call us. We're gonna be in the office working, and we will help you. Most things you can do online or over the phone. We can mail it to you. We can do anything like that. We're not gonna do concealed weapons anymore, because that makes you have to come into the office, and we're not letting anyone in the office anymore.
Good. All right. Somebody did ask me as well. They want to know if they owe taxes or whatever, what's the procedure of paying them, or if they're going to get paid at this time, or are you getting them a reprieve?
I cannot give you a reprieve. That's Florida statute. We
Okay.
did have a conference call today. It has been mentioned through Department of Revenue.
Okay.
The governor may sign something next week, but I don't have it yet. Only thing the governor has signed so far is effective period of driver's license and ID cards with expiration dates from March 16th through April 15th will be extended 30 days. That is all right now. There is going to be a possibility that your property taxes, your 2019 taxes, we are going to waive the 3% penalty that normally starts April 1st. It will not go into effect until April 15th. I don't have that signed yet, but what I've been told, that's what's gonna happen next week.
So if somebody wants to pay their taxes, they can do it online, or can they still mail it as well?
They can mail it in to us, they can call us, we will do it over the phone for them. But if you do it on a credit card, it charges you 2.35%, just like it does online. If you go online, you can also do an e-check, and I believe it's $1.
Okay. All right. That's the only questions that I've seen that came for you right now at this particular point. Did you want to have any closing statements? Anything that you can think of that you?
No. You know, this past week we worked out of our window and kind of screened people and let them come in, but we're just going to have to stop that. But we will be there for y'all next week. Just call us. Go on the website. My phone numbers are there everywhere. Call us and we'll do what we got to do.
Yeah, and thank you, Ms. Teresa. We really appreciate you, and we really appreciate what the tax collector's office does for all of us citizens here in Bradford County, and we know that you do an excellent job, and we really thank you very much.
Yeah, just call us if you got questions. We'll help you.
All right, thank you.
I have a question. It gets really busy in there.
It does.
How do you handle all the people standing in line and sitting in the chair? How's that going to?
Who's next?
Everybody's
Everybody's good.
Great question,
The
Dave, by the
problem
way.
we had is, I mean, some people, they just bring in their whole family, so we were like, I
Right.
stood at the door, was like, you can't come in this week. They just looked at me like, I was like, well, you know, we're just trying to keep everybody safe here. So,
All right.
it's been good so far, but.
Did you have a question for her?
Driver's license, if they have to be renewed, they can do those online as well, right?
They can do those online, yes. And like I say, right now, we do have an extension of 30 days only.
All right.
Yes, that can be done online.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, thank you very much,
Right.
Ms. Teresa. I appreciate
All
it.
right.
Thank you very much. All right, if we could get Mr. Terry Vaughn to come up. Somebody did ask about the elections, if they're going to be affected not only nationwide, but statewide and countywide as well. And we got Mr. Terry Vaughn, our supervisor of elections, coming up, and he'll get into that. Terry, one of the questions was here is how's the elections with this going on, not knowing the time frame of when this is going to all go away. They want to know how the elections are going to be affected nationally, statewide, and countywide.
Well, that's a great question, and it's kind of an open question at this point because we really don't know the duration of this virus issue.
Right.
But I can tell you in the 29 years I've been in this office, I've seen some crazy things. We've dealt with hurricanes. I dealt with the 2000 presidential race, decided by 537 votes in Florida. I dealt with 3 statewide recounts in 2018, but I never anticipated something like this could have such a sweeping effect on the landscape, even in elections.
Right.
And for the presidential preference primary that we held this week, for example, a lot of counties had to close polls.
Right.
They had poll workers dropping out like crazy. But I'm proud to say that in Bradford County, our poll workers really hung in there. Our voters showed a lot of grit and determination. We had, I think, what was a good turnout under the circumstances. What I'm hearing, David, is that there is a possibility, depending upon the severity of the issue, that all mail ballot elections could be considered in Florida. I think it's a little premature.
Right.
A little premature to say that will happen, but I think it's a possibility if this thing lingers. Still early to determine that. Hopefully things will be as normal where people can vote by mail if they choose to. They can vote early or they can vote on election day just as they've had for many, many years. But I think there is a possibility if we have quarantine issues going on,
Right.
that mail ballot elections could be considered by the governor and the legislature. We'll just have to wait and see. But you have to think about this is changing even how candidates operate as far as campaigning, going door to door, holding fundraisers, holding rallies, the sort of things we've done traditionally, you're just possibly not going to see this year. So this is going to be a very unusual election cycle.
The other question is your offices going to be open for right now? And can people still come in there and do business as usual with you, whatever it is that they need to do?
Yes, right now we still plan to be open. The foot traffic we receive right now is not as great as some of the other offices in the courthouse.
Right.
Obviously, if someone's having symptoms, we don't want them coming into the office. But
Right.
for example, next week is the deadline Monday for petitions to be turned in for our federal candidates, for our judicial candidates, public defender, that sort of thing. So we have some deadlines that we're facing, and even next week. So yes, until we get some sort of official order of closure that makes us close, we're going to stay open as long as we can. 5 Monday through Friday.
And but I guess for both of you guys, Sheriff and for you, Terry, somebody wants to know if, as a candidate, are we allowed right now to go ahead and keep putting up our signs, keep putting up their
There is
as soon as that happens?
Yeah, there has been a long-standing county sign ordinance that allows you to put signs up a little later than in years past. It's in June,
right.
June the 11th, I believe, is the
Yes.
first day that signs can go in the ground. So that shouldn't change as it stands right now as far as yard signs for
Right.
political purposes, June 11th. But you'll start seeing candidates having, magnetic signs
Fine.
on their side of their vehicles,
Right.
wearing T-shirts and caps, and that's fine. But as far as yard signs for political purposes, June 11th is the first day.
All right. Did you see any other questions there from Mr. Vaughn? I didn't see any. Did you have anything else, Terry, that you wanted to add to that?
No, proud of our county, proud of my staff. I have just 2 staff members, and proud of my poll workers, my canvassing board, my voters for this presidential preference primary that we just held. It was very successful, and we're looking forward to the fall, and hopefully we'll have a traditional election. August 18th for the primary and November 3rd for the general. It'll be by far the largest election and the biggest election that we've ever had in Bradford County.
Somebody did mention here, I guess it was just a mention, that they know this is going to be it for you, and they want to know what's going to be next for the Supervisor of Elections office.
I just want to survive the election. I'm not scared about the virus right now.
Yeah, that's right.
I honestly have no plans. I know the good Lord will have something for me, and I stay very busy.
Yes, you do.
And through my church and other civic organizations, so I know I'll have lots to do, and that'll be January of next year. So I've still got 10+ months before I can actually retire.
All right. Any other questions for Mr. Bond? Anybody else in the room? Any questions for Mr. Bond? Thank you, Terry. We appreciate it. Thank you.
very much.
Thank you. All right. Here's another question right here. Gordon, if you want to step back up to the podium real quick. Michelle Starling says, where can we find necessary supplies such as toilet paper and foods, especially meats? A lot of things are staying bare on the shelves as of right now.
They are, and I can tell you, our emergency management staff, the people have been working, been reaching out. The stores are trying to get stocked, and a lot of the reason for the hours at night, they're actually, if you look, Walmart, the Winn-Dixie, they're hiring people because they need more help stocking. They're getting the stuff there, so they're closing earlier so their people can actually stock the shelves. And then they're given first thing in the morning. Most of our locals are letting those with special needs, conditions come in and shop. Kind of, it's less crowded, letting them shop. So I think just be patient. I know it's tough. I don't care where you go. You can try to leave Bradford County, but you got the same situation. Just different set of circumstances because they're a larger population, need to feed more. So be patient. You know, you're going to eat some of those things that's been in your pantry probably for a while. It's been sitting there. You've been needing to find a reason. Pull it out of your freezer. Some of those canned goods that your mama's put up or you put up and froze for the last year or so. It's time to break them out. Spend some family time with your kids. You know, break out the board games. I've had people say, you know, that the kids are experiencing new things. You know, get off social media some and spend some time with your family.
I got one for you. I got Judith. I cannot pronounce her last name. It says that the hospital will, are they still having plans of closing the hospital in April in the midst of this going on?
Everything we have, but what we're understood, what's been told to us in some of the other meetings, I don't think we'll miss a beat. The other staff is working on taking over, so there's a smooth transition. The hospital will be there for the emergency room, be able to treat what we need to be treating, and perform medical service. They're pretty proud. I can tell you just in the few brief interactions I've had, it shows a positive. I try to remain positive as it affects my community, the people that live here, the people we love and care about, and it's the unknown. Nobody likes that. So I'm trying to keep a positive beat on it, but they've told us and kind of assured us as they make that transition and open up, they're getting prepared to keep that running, so we're not down. I hope that's so. I hope they live to that. And they know how important it is this time. They're very busy. You know, they've got caught right in the middle of this thing, so it's trying on everyone. They're working towards success.
All right. Go ahead, Dan.
Gordon, as long as I've lived in Florida, I know all us Floridians are used to dealing with hurricanes and preparing for hurricanes. How important is it to hoard water during a situation like this?
You know, when we talk about hoarding water right now, our utilities are up. Utility people are critical. You know, it's kind of like a hurricane without losing our electricity.
Right.
You know, if we just keep our, right now, you know what's more important, what we hear the most criticism about? Internet.
Yeah. And that's,
Man, don't let the internet go down. You might be without electricity. They got to have access to that phone and their social media in their hands. So people are really, I know the school, Miss Stacy will be up here in a minute, is worried about how the kids are at home, how they're going to get that internet access. We have an issue with that here in our community. You know, everybody in the community doesn't have access to internet, or if they do have it, Lord, it's still like the old dial-up that some of us remember.
Oh, yeah.
The new generation doesn't understand that, but we understand dial-up, you know, that's there. And I know that I can tell you, our Board of County Commissioners really fought hard and trying to get that. We've got some coming, but now we're in the middle of, you know, keeping everybody safe. So but we're trying to keep that up, your electricity up, you know, people are at home. Summertime's coming, it's heating up, make sure your air conditioning there. You got time to service it, keep them clean, keep your home clean. Let's get it done.
speaking of that, do you got one more?
Well, I got one from Sandra Hart. She wants to know, is it true that we're going to be quarantined to our houses?
At this time, no. I can tell you, you see California, you've seen New York, you know, Florida's discussing some of those things. And to say that they're not, is how would we do that? How would you enforce it? You know, most people obey the law. Most people want to get through this together. Unfortunately, there's those people that want to try to take advantage, you know, of situations. So we have to be mindful how we'll enforce that. that's still on the table. I know a lot of people smarter than me, and that's not hard to do, are out there working and trying to put that in place. But at this point, there's been no discussion of that in the near future. Hopefully we all do what we're supposed to do, and this thing hits the peak and we start on the downward decline of this thing. So I can tell you the federal government has worked probably as well as I've seen, and from hurricanes to everything we've dealt with over the years, other pandemics, the bird flus and the swine,
Sure.
and the different stuff that's come through, has worked as well with us that I've ever seen in my career. Of course, in my career, I've never seen this.
Right.
So it's something new to us.
This
You
is
know,
all
the
new
rest
to
of the
us.
world gets to see what we do on a regular basis for hurricanes.
Right.
They're experiencing what we do, but it's on a much larger scale.
Again, you're on the spot with David Rogers. We're live here at the EOC. We've got Sheriff Gordon Smith up right now. You've already heard Ms. Teresa Gaskin speak, and we've also got Mr. Terry Vaughn as well that's spoken. And now I've got some questions. Of course, I'm getting filled with them. If I could get Miss Stacy Creighton to come up.
Please, the school is-
Yeah,
that's
the school. Miss Alvarez is here with her
I've
as
got
well.
one right before she comes in. I've got Jane Knight. Is there going to be a curfew in Bradford County?
We can't just take it.
Not at this time. We've looked at that. Right now is, what do you do when they don't obey the curfew? Most time we're gonna take you home. We're gonna take them back to mom and daddy. If mom and daddy's there, mom and daddy's not there, we're looking at that. Some places have enacted curfews along the beaches, those type places. Right now, I see none of that for our immediate future for a curfew.
Okay, so no curfew at this time for Bradford County. If we get Miss Stacy Creighton, Miss Alvarez to come up, thank you, ladies, for joining us. I'm glad that you could be here. We've got a lot of people out here live with us right now, and they're wanting to know, of course, as many answers as we can give them. The first one is, what is the contingency plan for Bradford County schools, all levels, secondary, the middle school, and of course, the high school? And is school going to continue on as far as you know it right now?
Absolutely. Next week is our spring break. We encourage everyone to spend time with their families and just enjoy the week as best you can at home and following the CDC guidelines and stay in parties of 10 or less.
Right.
On the 30th, education will continue. Our campuses will be closed through April 15th, but we have a plan for every student to continue their education. From K to 5, you're going to be working on packets that will be available at the school on that Monday, the 30th. If you do not pick up the packet then, we will make plans to try and deliver that packet to the student. For 6th through 8th, they will also have a packet that is available that Monday on the 30th. However, they will be transitioning to a Chromebook that first week. So our goal is to have people come in and pick up their Chromebook, and then we'll transition to make them more like the high school, which has a 1-to-1 ratio with Chromebooks. So their instruction will be more virtually, given the issues with CenturyLink.
Right.
It's gonna be slow, but
Yeah.
we're gonna do our best. Our high school has a 1-to-1 ratio, so they're not gonna be involved with packets initially. Now, we do know that people have internet issues. Our goal is that every elementary, middle, and high school will have some spots in their parking lot where internet will be accessible. So when you pull up with your school-issued Chromebook, it will automatically log into our service so that you can download assignments and upload work. You won't have to be there for hours. It will be a temporary measure if you don't have internet at home. So it's not required, it will just be available. Now, food service is another big issue. That too is going to start Monday the 30th. So we're going to have it at 6 locations. The first one is the high school, and it's going to be in the bus loop like it has been this week. We'll also be at Southside, Lottie Elementary, Brooker Elementary, Hampton Elementary, and RJE, run by the Concerned Citizens. Our cafeteria staff is going to fix it, and we will deliver it to those sites. However, they have to get their bag and take it. You cannot stay and eat there because of the CDC rule of 10 or less. So
Right.
be prepared. You can walk up and get it, but you have to take it with you. Now, the student must be there to get their food. We cannot send it with an adult. This is a federal requirement because all of our food is purchased with federal money now. That's how we can do free breakfast and lunch across our county. We can't do anything to jeopardize that, so we're going to comply with every requirement.
All right. There was another question, and that was, and you maybe sort of answered this, is if a child needs to access books if through the library or whatever, will they be able to come on to campus or go into the library to get research materials or anything like that?
We're not planning for students to come back on campus. We're going to follow the governor's directive and the commissioner's
Right.
directive. We do have an online library that is called MyOn, so that they can do it if they have internet access. They can access a trove of books. So
Okay.
we do have that available.
Okay. Let's see. There wasn't any other question. Did you see another question there?
Yes, what about the ACT and other tests?
Yeah, good question.
Okay, the state tests, the FSAs, have all been canceled for this year. The newest thing is that the AP is saying students who are in the AP classes could take those tests at home. They don't have to come in to be tested. Now, we will wait on College Board, but right now, my understanding is that all of those have been canceled because of the CDC guidelines. So we don't have access to those tests right now.
Okay. How about as far as if this continues on, which we've all heard it could be for months, just depending. Graduation. What I've had a lot of people say, what about graduation, David? What's going on with graduation? So
We are deeply concerned about our graduates. We know this is unfair to them.
Right.
And right now, if you currently look at the calendar on our website, it still lists graduation
Yes,
and prom. Now, chances are those things may be postponed, but we do plan on celebrating our seniors at some point, hopefully as soon as possible. As soon as the state says we can do it, we plan on doing it.
okay. So right now you're just saying it's a postponement, not a cancellation, right?
Right now, we canceled everything through April 15th,
Okay.
which is when the state says. So
Right.
we're waiting on guidance from the state. When they said we can reopen, we will reopen.
Okay. All right. Sports. I know, I don't know if we have anybody, any of the coaches here, and I wish I would have gotten them here. Right now, all sports canceled or just postponed?
I would say cancel.
That's what I got as well. That's the way I'm getting it as well.
Canceled everything.
Okay, so no more spring sports to include spring football. Somebody asked about spring, where that's on canceled. Okay. Did you have anything else to add? That was the only questions that were the main questions that were proposed to me. So.
No extracurriculars whatsoever.
Okay.
If you're not in a sport and you're in a club, you cannot meet. Right now, we're obeying the CDC's guidance with the 10 or less, and we're just trying to get through this as best we can. Okay. I want to thank all the teachers and staff for working so hard this week, and I want to thank the parents for their patience as things have been changing daily.
Right.
We're trying to keep up with getting the information out as quickly as possible. I would like to refer people to our Facebook, our website, and we're going to keep it posted as quickly as possible.
I did see one question right here. I know you had one too, Mitchell. It said about calling. I know you're trying to limit a lot of the phone calls because I know y'all are really busy. Can they still call up there and ask the questions that they need to, and will there be somebody there to answer those questions?
There will not be anyone there over spring break, but if
Okay.
they will email us, we can get back to them that way.
Okay.
Our website is www.bradfordschools.org,
Okay.
and we will keep it updated constantly.
Okay. Mitchell.
Got one from Maggie Wiggs. Any word on graduation requirements this year? Have they changed?
Okay, all the testing requirements have been removed. So if you,
That's what we-
the Algebra 1, the 10th grade FSA, those will no longer impact graduation criteria. Now, you still need your credits.
Right.
And you need to pass the classes that you're
Right.
registered in.
So you'll just go off of grades
Exactly,
to prove that they can graduate from high school.
yes.
Gordon, probably a question to you as well, and while Ms. Stacy's standing right here also, a lady just sit here. Why is Northside opening up their school on April the 26th is what she said, or the 24th? Did you hear anything about that?
That's
About
the first I've heard about it. I know there's another governor's order out there that said public and private schools. So
That's what I thought as well.
There is, that's got a date.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly what that date is, and maybe that's the date, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I know that working with those people, they're taking all the extra precautions, they've reached out, so I'm not sure about that, if that's, correct or not. I'm just telling, they've been reaching and following, and they want to do everything to comply.
Okay.
As well as all the local churches, ministers who have reached out. I'm telling you, we've had nobody really defiant to any of the actions that we've taken within Bradford County.
Okay.
I got one more. I got a person on here talking about picking up packets. They can pick up those packets right after spring break. Is that correct?
Yes, at their school's front office. Also, could I bring up the point about the lunches? Say you're a senior student and you live in the Lodi area, you do not have to come into the high school. Just go to the school that is closest to you for their lunches. We'll serve K to 12 or all students at whatever school is closest.
Okay. Ms. Alvarez, did you have anything to add to this while she's?
I'm just here to help answer questions and support, and
Okay.
reiterate what she said, our teachers have been amazing this week.
Yes, they have, and all the administrative staff, y'all have been great as well. And like I said, we want to just direct everybody to y'all's guys' website on any questions that they have. And I am sure that y'all have always been prompt about getting answers back. And I'm sure y'all are going to be doing the same thing while we're going this.
I got a question from somebody else. They want to know, could you post this to y'all school district website, which I know y'all will update it
Absolutely.
as things change. That was one question somebody had. And another person said, should we be going to schools, period? You know, I guess it just depends on what happens with the pandemic. If the governor
Right.
sees that we just don't go back for the rest of the year and finish up with homeschooling.
And we are trying to make plans on getting those packets out. So if the parents do not come in and pick up the packets, we're going to try and get those packets out to our students.
And schools that passed out packets this week, they set up staff outside, so parents just had to
Correct.
drive through, just like they did at lunch, and they picked up.
Right.
We had a few of the schools that did something for their students, so it'll be the same thing,
Okay.
starting next week.
And that happened at Stark Elementary.
Stark
Elementary, right. Any questions back in the back for Miss Creighton while she's up? Thank you, Ms. Stacy. Appreciate it. Superintendent of Schools right here with us. Again, this is David Rogers. On the spot with David Rogers, live here at the EOC room with Sheriff Gordon Smith and a lot of esteemed colleagues here. You've heard a lot of them speak already. If I could get Shane Bennett to come up, the Lodi Chief of Police here, if he could come up, if he's here, yes, he's here. I see him. That's the good-looking fella coming up right here, right now. Shane, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Is there anything, there wasn't no questions directly for you, but do you want to just give us an update of what's going on over in Lodi? I live over in Lodi. Just what's going on as far as the virus cases and what you should do, and just things that in general that are going on in Lodi and what we should be looking out for.
I think the important thing for the people that live inside the city of Lodi to know is that the state of emergency was declared today by the city council. I have with me our city clerk, Lisa Harley. There's some issues regarding water payment bills, entering city hall, city park closures. We're closing the city parks now, and we're asking everybody's patience for that. We have some beautiful parks in Lodi that are well attended, and in the meantime, I know school's out, but we're hoping that people will appreciate the circumstances that we're under and just help us out with that situation. I'd also like people to know that if you are elderly in Lodi, if you have a respiratory condition in Lodi, we're going door to door to those people. And if myself or one of the police officers has not yet been to your home, we will be. And if there's anything that those people need that are elderly, that are sheltered in place, or that have any kind of medical conditions, they need stuff from the pharmacy, they need stuff from Dollar General, I'm more than happy to make those runs and do those chores for them, as are the police officers and the city officials. So don't hesitate to call us, please.
All right. Have y'all heard any word? Did get one question right here. Any word on the restocking over at the Dollar General, and how's that going? I know you go in there quite a bit. Is the food supplies and some of the supplies still coming in over at the Dollar General there in Lodi?
The Dollar General was restocked Wednesday morning fully. It continues to be stocked pretty well. So the first hour of operation is reserved for elderly and people with respiratory conditions.
Right.
But after that, please, yeah, the stock is up and is appropriate. And one more thing, David, also, I've got a lot of questions on the school zone in Lodi.
Yes.
These flashing lights have not yet been reprogrammed to accommodate our new circumstances here.
I'm glad.
However, the school zone is only enforced at all times when school's in session, whether it be a teacher planning day or an event like this. So the school zone is not being enforced. It's being limited through Lodi, it's 45 miles per hour. Please obey that.
Okay, that sounds good. Any questions?
No, I'm fine.
Is there anything you needed to add?
Is there anything that you wanted to add?
City Hall open?
City Hall's open, limited access.
Okay.
We encourage you to use the drop box, but we do have a window open for if you have to come in. We just encourage everybody to mail their payments in or use the drop box. We haven't extended the water bill payments as of yet, so they're still due, but,
Right.
the council may decide on doing that.
And they can still send it, pay it online, and
We don't have online.
that's what I wanted to do for you to say, right?
And they can
But-
bill it, so.
Okay, but right now, y'all have no plans on closing anything right now, Shane, at this time?
Other than the city parks, no, sir. Everything else remains open.
Okay. Any questions for the chief of police in Lottie? Shane, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, ma'am, for joining us. We really appreciate it. So, if I could, when you're up here, if you could speak just a little bit louder, we're going to bring this up a little bit. A lot of people are saying it's great information coming out there, but they can't hear. So we're going to try to get this up a little bit for you guys so you'll be able to hear. We apologize for those technical difficulties. Dave Holland is working steadily on trying to get the volume up, but if you can speak up a little bit, that would be great. If I could get Mr. Ricky Thompson to come up, our city clerk of Stark, to come up and say a few words of what's going on here within the city. Ricky, if you come up.
No, Ricky.
You took the hat off. I like the hat.
Yeah.
Come on, bring
Yeah. Yeah, you can introduce who you have with you, Ricky, and introduce yourself. And
Yes, sir. David Rogers, can y'all hear me?
absolutely, if you speak just a little bit louder, just a little bit.
Okay, I have with me our city manager, John Holman,
John, welcome.
John, welcome.
and we're here to answer any questions or.
Mitchell, do you have anything for?
What are y'all's plans to, like with the water park? I know it's starting to get warm. The kids are all out of school. Is that going to be open, or y'all going to keep that closed for right now?
I can take that. The water park was scheduled to be open in late May. Unfortunately, based on what is occurring now, we're holding off any announcements on that until we see what happens and we receive recommendations for the Office of Emergency Management and the Board of Health so that we can set a date on when we can officially open that properly. We don't want to set a date and then have to keep rescheduling and keep rescheduling. So I appreciate everyone's patience and the citizens' patience that's been exercised in the city of Stark, and I appreciate all of staff's hard work because they continue to keep coming in and maintaining it. I will say that in the city of Stark, we will be closing the city hall next week, but our window will be open. You will be able to get service through the window. We have a drive-through window that our city clerk is going to maintain. We will be fully staffed during this time so that we will provide, if you want to call us, you want to fax us, you want to email us, we will get back to you, we will talk to you. All our communications on this emergency, we're running through the Office of Emergency Management here and the Board of Health to make sure we have a united communications and there's no confusion.
Gotcha.
Okay, we will not be doing turnoffs for our electrical.
Great.
So that is in place. We don't have an end date for that because we don't know when this emergency is going to expire. But upon the emergency expiring, we will set a date on when we will begin turnoffs again. The bills are still due and owing on the dates that we send out, but we will not be shutting off your electric, not during a health emergency.
Now, I'm sure the citizens there, we appreciate you, Mr. Holman, for saying that, and I'm sure our citizens are glad to hear that. I did have a question right here from one of our viewers, and it says, any of the projects that the city is doing right now, is any of them on hold? And if they are, which ones are they?
There are no projects on hold at this time. As a matter of fact, we just finished a kickoff meeting for the reconstruction of the sewer plant. Relining of sewer just 2 days ago. We got it in just in time before we closed City Hall. We wanted to make sure those projects move forward. The electrical switching station is still moving forward. The contractors are still coming in to provide that service. SR 100, SR 200 overpass services, they are still moving forward. We have not heard from Florida Department of Transportation that they have slowed those projects down.
Right.
So we are moving forward with that. Projects impacted, if you want to think about it, might be Orange Street, which hasn't started.
Right.
That project is probably going to be on hold just because it hasn't gone out to bid yet.
Okay.
We still are funded for that project. We are still going to move forward with it. I'll be putting a report online called the City Manager Report, which will have information with regard to all projects and will be available for anyone that wants to look at it and review it. If there's any questions, we're more than happy to take them now or take them when we're in the offices. So don't hesitate to contact us.
Okay, and you said that the offices won't be closed at this time, so business as usual for right now, right?
Except for the public will not be able to access the City Hall except through the drive-through window. That's in our concern for safety of the public as well as our staff.
Gotcha.
Right, and we're sanitizing every hour on the hour,
Glad you said that.
wiping down everything, starting at 7 a.m., even though we're closing the lobby. The drive-through will remain open to conduct any and all business.
Is the city council meetings going to still be held as usual?
The city council meetings, we're looking at doing the telephonic as authorized by the governor, but we're going to make sure that in those telephonic meetings, if somebody has a question and wants to call in and answer, they'll be able to participate. We want to make sure there's always public participation in the meetings. So we are looking at the telephonic option. We're working with our IT people in there. It's in the interest of safety to make sure that we don't bring more than 50 people, or now we're down to the 10 people.
10 people, right.
10 people coming in. At 10 people, I have 10 people at the meeting, just having the council, the city clerk, and everyone else.
Right.
So what we're going to make sure of is that you can participate at least telephonically in the meeting. If you have a question, you can answer the question. If I can find a way to do it through email where you can just ask a question on the email and we can bring it up in the meeting, that's another way to deal with it. So we can still stay public and have public participation even though we can't have 10 people at a meeting.
Gotcha. All right, do you have one?
Yes.
Okay.
When do we know when 100 is going to get the glazing coat put on where those manholes are sitting up?
We've had that question asked to us many times and we didn't know the answer to that one, so I'm glad you're here.
That's a good question. I wish I could answer that off the top of my head. I can't. But I will check in on Monday on that with Florida Department of Transportation and see if we can't find out when they're going to put that coat down.
Right. And people's got to understand that is state, that is not city.
But I'll be happy to check on that with my staff and with Florida Department of Transportation and get an answer out on Monday on that.
All right.
Dave, do you have a question for the
No, I'm fine.
All right, anybody else have a question for the city manager or Mr. Thompson? All right, guys, hey, we appreciate you. Thank you for all that you're doing for us. We know that you coming in here and you're doing a wonderful job. We hear great things about you, so keep up the great work. And if there's anything we can help you, we would sure love to do that.
Well, I just want to say the mayor and commissioners wanted to thank the Office of Emergency Management and the sheriff for this opportunity to be able to speak directly to every one of the people and to make sure that we're fully open and transparent with regard to what's occurring here in the cities. As this is a unique emergency. It's the first time any of us really have had to deal with this type of emergency. I'd almost rather deal with a hurricane. I hate to say that.
Right.
We're going in the hurricane one day, and hurricane we know what we're doing. Here, we're learning as we go.
I just hope we don't get a double dose, this and a hurricane at the same time. So it'd be.
I'm saying prayers on that.
Yeah, we're saying prayers on that one. So we appreciate you guys. Thank you for coming on. If we have anything for you, we'll get back with you. If there's any questions, we'll try to get them back to you. And if we can help you guys out in any way, we do this show on Tuesdays and Saturday nights. You just let us know what you need us to put out as far as information goes.
Thank you very much.
Huh? Need a haircut? Yeah, I need one too, I think. So, again, you're on the spot with David Rogers right here live at the EOC building. We've got a lot of esteemed colleagues here and a lot of your elected officials trying to answer all the questions that you have, whether it's about the virus, whether about things going on within our county, within our city, and we definitely want to get those addressed. So, look at here, property appraiser question. Look at there, huh? That's it right there. Where we got the property, there we go. Property taxes. How to get information from their office. There he is, coming up right here. Great timing for a great question.
Thank you very much. The question was how to get information from our office?
Yes, sir.
We recommend, and we're urging everyone to go online to either email us at bradfordappraiser.com.
Right.
Or they can call our number, they can email us either way. Our offices are going to be open until further notice. Our walk-in traffic is not very much at this point in time. The March 1st deadline for homestead applications ended, but we, through extenuating circumstances, possibly can take homesteads after that date if needed. And I think that question to be answered would be if they would contact us if they have any questions, concerns, or anything concerning that or any other applications as well.
Is there anything that you foresee with not knowing, because the unknown of this is about this virus is the unknown. We don't know what's going on. We don't know when there will be a vaccine or a cure or anything like that. Any future plans right now as far as the property appraiser's office, Kenny, and what we can expect maybe in the next couple of months, 2 or 3 months? Anything new or anything that you may see upcoming?
Nothing that I know of. We had conference calls today with the other appraisers throughout the state. As far as locally and far as my office is concerned, I have suspended all field inspections as of Monday, so you won't see us out and about just doing inspections unless it's warranted or somebody would like for us to come out. So we'll no longer be doing that. So, but again, if anybody has any questions or needs us for any other thing, they can certainly contact us for that purpose.
All right. So, Dave, did you have a question for
no,
property appraiser? Anybody else? Kenny, thank you very much, and we'll definitely refer them to your office if there's any questions that are warranted for you. But we appreciate you stepping in and coming in and joining us. Thank you very much. All right, there's a couple of questions right here. I'll just open it up.
I actually got Miss Cynthia Berry coming up.
Okay, all right. Bring Miss Cynthia Berry up, and Miss Stafford too. She wants to join her. There you go. You're good. You sure you don't want no camera time?
No camera time.
No camera time, she said. Got a lot of people on. Miss Cynthia Berry here, clerk of the court for Bradford County right here. Want to thank you, and thank you for joining us again. Anybody that's listening in, you're on the spot with David Rogers, and we're here live at the EOC. And we've got, like I said, a lot of people here that are going to try to give you as much information, answer as many questions as you can, whether it's about this virus, whether it's about things that are happening in the community or what's not happening in the community. And like I said, we're going to try to get all your questions answered. I've got Mr. Mitchell Gunner right here, right beside me, going through some questions as well. I've got Mr. Dave Holland helping produce the show. Gordon, I want to thank you and your staff and everybody that's here for letting us put this on. I think it's a great informational deal. We got a lot of people on, and we're going to try to get you as many answers as we can in regards to this pandemic, if you want to call it. But I've never seen nothing in my lifetime like this, and I tell you, most of the people here will tell you the same thing. It's unprecedented, but we're going to work through this thing, and we're going to get it done, because I tell you, I personally believe that we live in the greatest country in the world today, and that's the United States of America, and we can do whatever it is that we put our mind to doing, and we're going to get through this just like we have anything else. So,
I've seen a question on here. They wanted to ask about court dates.
Yes.
Are the court dates going on, or courts suspended at this time? As far as jury selection and all that stuff.
Okay, first of all, let me say, on behalf of our clerk, Ray Norman, he's home recuperating from a procedure that he had done. So I just want to say that on his behalf. We're here representing him. Regarding the court dates, well, let me start with jury. We had jurors to come in, that was supposed to come in last week. per administrative order from our chief judge and from Supreme Court order, those jurors and those trials were delayed, have been delayed, up to 3 weeks. It could go more. That depends on the administrative order and the Supreme Court. So those jurors may at some point, the same jury pool may at some point be sent summonses to come in. We don't know that yet. So the jury trials for this month, for the month of March, have been delayed, postponed. We're going to reschedule those when we get the order from the Supreme Court and from court administration. Now, as far as court dates are concerned, it depends on what court we're talking about. Some courts, family courts, some civil courts, have been rescheduled. But what we encourage everyone to do is call our office, because your case may not be rescheduled. So we want you to call our office, and we can provide that information to you, regardless of what kind of court we're talking about. Some of the civil court dates are in the process of being rescheduled. We started with those today, okay? We started with some felony court dates rescheduling today. But all cases will not be rescheduled. It depends on the kind of case. It depends on our direction. We take our directions from court administration and our chief judge and the Supreme Court. We get our marching orders from them.
Right.
So we will wait until we get the orders from them before we actually reschedule. Some of them, as I stated, are in the process of being rescheduled. Some of them are not. We don't want you to miss your court date. So please call our office and we can clear that up for you. Please do that. Call the clerk's office and we can clear that up for you.
All right, if you get a jury summons right here in the next couple of days, same as usual, you check in, do the things that you need to do your like you're going to be on jury duty. They need to take the steps, but you're not bringing them in?
You will not receive a jury summons. You will not receive one.
Okay.
Jurors have been delayed, postponed, rescheduled for 3 weeks. Nothing is going to happen. You should not get a jury summons within the next 3 weeks. And it could go longer depending on our direction. Right. But if anyone does get a jury summons, which you shouldn't, please give our office a call, because we have something else going on, okay? There's something else going on that shouldn't be.
Gotcha.
And I'm saying that because we have, and the sheriff knows this, we have jury scams that's going on all around the area.
And that's...
Okay, so we want you to call if should you get one, okay?
Okay. Mitchell?
I'm good. I need to bring our leaders back up from the city of Stark to ask them a question.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Berry. We appreciate it.
Let me say one more thing. We have some of our staff that's here, and I want to thank our staff. We have worked really, really hard. We've worked as a team. We've worked together getting this done. So I just want to thank the clerk, Ray Norman's staff.
Yes.
For the hard work that's gone into what we're doing.
And Mr. Ray Norman, we want to wish you speedy recovery. Ms. Cynthia Berry did a great job stepping in for you. So we want to wish you a speedy recovery as you're getting well. So sorry, gentlemen, we thought this question was for somebody else, but it was actually directed to you guys. Mitchell Gunner?
It was about recreation softball. They had paid money, I guess, for their child to play. And they wanted to know, would they be refunded that money since maybe sports
or any of the city things, like athletics or anything that's going on?
We have scheduled, both softball and baseball have been scheduled by the city. We are still looking at holding that. We have not canceled that. We have postponed that.
Okay.
We are hoping that by the second weekend in May, we can kick that off again. That will be determined by the Board of Health, by the federal government, and everything. Uniforms have all been ordered. I hope everybody understands that. We've ordered equipment. We've ordered bats. We've ordered softballs. We've ordered baseballs. So funds have been expended for that. We will be getting the uniforms to each of the children in some sort of fashion. Ms. Ashley from my office is working on that now. So we have not canceled baseball or softball. We are still going to try and hold that. We're hoping to have an opening day by mid-May. I don't want to say it would be any earlier than that. That is probably a safe date to use. So at this point, there are no plans for any refunds, as funds have been expended. And we will be getting the uniforms and everything, and all of the equipment out to either the coaches or to the players as time goes on. I do want to say that in the city, we use inmates for a lot of our crews. We can no longer use them right now. So you may see the grass growing longer in our parks and on our right the ways that goes on. But as soon as they're released, we'll be back at that. So I apologize if you see the grass growing a little longer than you're used to. But we'll take care of that.
All right, we appreciate it. Thank you guys very much. If I can have at this time, let's bring up Mr. Chris Daugherty, if he's here. I thought I seen him in the back here. Bradford County Commissioner. As he makes his way up, you're on the spot with David Rogers, live here from the EOC. We're holding a question and answers period, but also to discuss anything else that you would like to ask any of our elected officials. Anybody that's in a position of importance is here in this room today, and I want to thank each and every one of you guys for joining us. We're getting a lot of great response online about how maybe we should do this a little more often, but I want to thank each and every one of you for taking time out from your busy schedule to join us. But right now at the podium, we've got the man with the plan himself, Mr. Chris Daugherty. Thank you for joining us. What is in the plan as far as the county, as far as the projects that the county is doing right now? Are they still on track as it is like for the city right now? Any of the county projects that are going on?
Well, thank you, David, and thank you all for being here. And I want to thank all of our county folks and all of our municipalities
Yes.
and all of the departments that have all stepped up during this time. I'd especially like to thank our interim county manager, Ms. Rachel Roden, for staying on top of things and keeping all of us informed. But yes, David, at this time, we do have a couple of projects that are going on with our living quarters out at Sampson City and also in the Teresa area. And so we'll continue on those projects right now because it is important that we go ahead and get the folks into those living quarters so they're able to serve the citizens of Bradford County. So right now, those projects are still a go. So again, you know, other than that, we don't really have a whole lot going on other than, you know, some DOT projects that you all are aware of that don't fall under the county at this time. And we do have some road projects that are going on. We're doing some fog sealing on some of the roads. Those will continue as normal. All of those projects, you know, they're outside, you know, our staff's outside and they'll continue to operate. We do ask at this time that they, you know, travel, you know, to and from the projects, you know, in individual vehicles when they can. But for the most part, like I said, they are outside and they'll continue to operate, you know, to take care of, you know, anything within the Public Works Department in Bradford County.
Are you holding your meetings? There was a question here. Are you holding your meetings as well still? You haven't canceled any meetings or anything at this point?
So last night we canceled our regularly scheduled Thursday night meeting. We have canceled our April the 6th meeting, and then moving forward, April the 16th, we will come up with a mechanism, and just as the city was talking about how we'll move forward with being able to have those meetings where they're out in the sunshine, and given the sunshine laws of the state of Florida, and to be able to provide for the citizens to ask questions, have comment periods during those meetings. So yes, so also if I could too, like I said, I did mention the municipalities. I'd like to thank the Department of Health and for all the work
absolutely,
and for our hospital and for all the healthcare workers. Those folks can't take off during this time like a lot of people can. So, you know, I want to thank them for all the work they're doing and just, you know, doing everything they can to provide, you know, health care for the citizens of Bradford County.
I don't know if this falls under you, Chris, but somebody asked about some of the local businesses here about financial impact. And if there's any kind of contingency plan or if you know of anything to help some of our local businesses with financial backing, if in case they have to be shut down for more of a period of time than what we see maybe expected.
If I could just reiterate what the sheriff said earlier, with our state of emergency, and by the way, you can go look at the state of emergency on our website, bradfordcountyfl.gov, and you can go on there under the media tab and you can look at that state of emergency. And as the sheriff said, the reason for implementing the state of emergency and not the state of panic, that state of emergency is so that we can get reimbursement for local businesses and also for the government and for the municipalities that, you know, expend that are currently expending funds for emergency services.
Good. That's a great answer, and that was from one of our viewers as well. Do you have a question, Mitchell?
I just want to iterate what Chris was saying about those getting that money back. It's just the same as if we went in emergency mode for a hurricane and y'all use those fundings up and y'all asked to be reimbursed from the state or federal government. It's pretty much the same thing.
That's correct. State of emergency, and it's
Right.
just as you said, Mitchell, it falls under the same thing. I also want to mention, if I could, too, the question came up about other elected officials being here, and under the sunshine laws, unless that's advertised, it's difficult to have, more than one in the same room at the same time. So I want to speak on behalf of my fellow commissioners. If you have questions that are pertaining to anything that's going on in the county, feel free to reach out to them. Go to our county website. You can find their phone numbers. You can find their email addresses, and they'll be glad to answer any questions that you have. And also feel free to reach out to our interim county manager, Ms. Rachel Roden, and she'll answer any questions you have. Call her right over at the county manager's office at 904-966-6327. And I'll go ahead and repeat that again in case anybody's watching, they want to write it down. It's 904-966-6327.
While you're up here, some people may, I hope they do, but can you tell us who the county commissioner, or tell our audience who our county commissioners are? If you'll, like I said, you're representing them, so if you can tell who's the chairman and the rest of your constituents.
So I'm your current board chairman. Our vice chairman right now is Mr. Kenny Thompson, and he is District 4. And listen, I don't want to get the numbers wrong here.
I hear you.
We have Commissioner Riddick. He's in District 2.
Right.
We have Commissioner Ross Chandler in District 1, and then we have Commissioner Frank Durance in District 5.
Gotcha. And that's your county commissioners right there. And somebody asked me, do you have an open door policy? Can you be contacted at any time? I know we get that question asked as well. You have an open door policy? Can you be contacted? Can any other county commissioner be contacted?
You can reach me on my phone at 904-796-7095. And again, I'll repeat that again. It's 904-796-7095. I'll be glad to answer any questions that I can, or I can direct you to the persons that can answer those questions for you.
All right, I appreciate it. You got another question for?
No, I just want to appreciate what the board's been doing over the past couple of months. Also working on getting that collection site out there fixed. I think since that's been put in place, we haven't had no car accidents since that's been done, and we've got a flashing beacon coming pretty soon from FDOT, and also I've been working with FDOT and Bobby Payne's office, and they're going to actually put up some kind of early warning system when traffic's at 144th and Griffiths Loop, right there on 100. So that's in the works. So I appreciate y'all working with me and vice versa.
I appreciate you advocating for the citizens of Bradford County and their safety. I really do. I know you put a lot of work into that, and really appreciate that. Let me just say something else if I can, and just want to say this to everyone in the room and also to the folks out there on Facebook. Unless you're holding a phone that has the virus on it, you're not going to catch it calling somebody. So reach out to your elders, reach out to your grandparents, reach out to your friends, check on them, see if they're doing okay, see if there's anything you can do for them. And I also want to say too, while all this is going on and you see the empty shelves, I don't see a lot of empty shelves when it comes to pet food. Don't forget about your pets.
Yes, okay? Very good.
They're just as much a part of your family as your children, your grandparents, and everyone else. So keep them in mind, because we want to make sure that they're taken care of as well during this time, because you're going to need them, because you're going to want that partnership and you're going to want them around, and so please take care of them as well. So
all right.
Anyway, unless that's it, that's all I have, and appreciate y'all, and thank y'all for being here, and thank y'all for everything you do.
Appreciate you, Chris. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. So
I want to mention a comment a while ago. They were asking, were there any cases of the coronavirus here in Bradford County?
Absolutely.
And that is
zero right now.
0 cases in Bradford County.
People's been tested, but no cases, right, Sheriff?
Right.
All right. I want to say something that Chris, the owner of the Downtown Grill, and Ricky, our husband's here, about announcing about the local restaurants going to delivery, which they are, and all the other downtown merchants right now, Sheriff, as far as I know, are open regularly right now, and they're taking all the necessary safety precautions So when you go in there, they're doing all the cleanup and everything, and they're taking the necessary precautions so you can still go into our local merchants and do business there as this is going on.
Absolutely, and two of the questions I keep seeing come across the screen as we're monitoring is about the parks and also about the case of coronavirus.
Yeah.
With that being said, I'm gonna bring our emergency management director up, because
we need him.
His staff, Miss Wendy, and him stay all day long on the phones trying to get the needs of the people met, but they're also inquiring. So they reached out to the health department every day, and the people that they work with, because our health department, they would normally be here, but let me tell you, those people are working themselves to exhaustion.
Yeah.
So a big shout out to our local health department for Bradford, Union County. Those men and women, I'm telling you, they're not getting much rest.
No, they're not.
They're having to keep up with all the data. If you go to the Department of Health and check the map, it's not what we're just telling you. But I'm going to let Lieutenant Schufer give you all some of that information, where to go and seek that and see and confirm what we're telling you.
Yeah. Lieutenant, first of all, I want to say thank you, you and your staff, along with Gordon, for letting us do what we do here on Tuesdays and Saturday nights from this beautiful room that we're in. You have been more than gracious, you and Wendy and all your staff have been more than gracious by letting us do the shows here. And we just can't thank you enough for letting us do this, and we appreciate you. You just don't know how much we appreciate you.
Well, David, it's our pleasure to be able to share it. This is the citizens' room. I mean, this room is here for us to be able to do exactly what's going on here, and that's to get information out to the public. It's for us to process the information, for us to be able to calculate and be able to coordinate all of the response, everything that's going to happen through this catastrophic event that's happening right now, an unprecedented event. And you know, you are a good purveyor of that information. You're able to get some information on a regular basis. And that's a help to us, and for that, I thank you and your team as well, because you guys do a tremendous job. And I was telling you earlier, looking at it, we've
come a long way, haven't we?
We've come a long way from where we started, and it's pretty amazing. So, and I thank you for what you do.
Well, we appreciate you. No, we thank you guys.
I would like to just cover a couple of things to begin with. County parks in Bradford County are still open. We do like to remind everybody to make sure that people are washing their hands, make sure parents are with their children, that they keep everybody clean, that they try to clean up behind themselves and all. But the county parks are open. In the city of Lawdy, however, the city has closed their city park in Lawdy, and the city hall there is at limited access. So those are the two biggest updates that I have at the moment right now. If I could just address for a second something that you guys were talking about a minute ago, and that's the restaurants. And the restaurants in town and everything that's going on here. Folks, here's what I have to say. This is a hard hit economically and personally to a lot of people. And we need to think about the people that are affected by that and the people that are going to be affected. And I encourage everyone, keep these people in your prayers. Now, they have families. The people that work in the restaurants and some of the ones that have decided not to go to just takeout only, not to go to delivery, they've decided to just close for the time being. We need to keep those people in our prayers, because there's a lot of people going to be affected by this. And praying right now is not a bad thing to do anyway. So it's just one more thing to add to our prayer list. A lot of data. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of misinformation that's floating around. Social media is not the place to go and look for the best information. However, the Department of Health's site, the website for the Department of Health, it is absolutely the place to go. Absolutely one of the best places. They are the lead agency. They are the incident command for this entire event through the state of Florida, throughout the state of Florida. So that's where we're taking our information, and they're getting their information from the Centers for Disease Control. So, the CDC is working on this worldwide, and our Florida Department of Health is taking care of it here for the state of Florida.
Right.
We have a health department here that is our local liaison, and we meet or talk with them daily, throughout the day, many times a day, and we're passing information back and forth. There are people being tested in Bradford County. There are several people that have been tested for it. And I'm going to reiterate what you all keep saying over and over again. I want to say it one more time. 0 cases in Bradford County that are known cases in Bradford County. And that's, to keep it that way, we're taking the steps that we're doing. We're trying to do our part and contribute to that, to keep the number 0 for as long as we can. I'm a realist. I don't know that it'll always stay that way, but we want to enjoy the 0 days while we can, because that does make life a little bit better for us.
Good deal. Any questions for Dave? You got a question? Good,
Right.
Ray.
Well, I thank y'all so much for coming and doing this, and I think our public thanks you as well.
Well, we appreciate it. Yeah, definitely we're getting a lot of feedback from the public. Like I said, Lieutenant, they're saying, man, why don't we do this more often? And maybe we should, even when we don't have a crisis. Maybe we should do this. And they're saying a lot of great information is coming out of this, and we're also getting a lot of great information from our citizens out there. Just to give you a prime example, Hampton City Hall is open but closed to the public, and the utility payments can be made online, just like it can here and in Lottie and the other communities as well. So we want you to keep the questions coming. If it's
personnel before they come into work. So as soon as they get to the station, we're having them, take their own temperature. Answer these questionnaires that you see all over the place now, that all these questions are being asked. Have you traveled? Have you been on a plane, on a cruise ship? Things of that nature. So we're trying to keep our workforce healthy as well before we're coming out and taking care of you all. The biggest changes you'll probably see from our side of the house is as far as dispatch goes. If you call 911, you're probably going to hear dispatch ask you a few more questions than usual. So they're going to be asking you these kind of trigger questions, as we call them. If you've got any kind of fever, if you've been having any of these certain symptoms, and we ask you to please be honest when you're answering these questions. You're not in any kind of trouble if you answer these questions, to a yes. If you have been somewhere traveling, that keeps us safe, so we know what kind of protective gear we need to wear when we get there. Another thing you'll probably see change is as soon as we get to your house, instead of coming right up to you, typically we'll come right up to you, check your pulse, do things like that. We're kind of doing things from the door now. We call it at-the-door triage. So we're kind of hollering at you from the door. We're not going to be shouting at you in the back bedroom. So we're obviously just trying to maintain what the CDC guidelines are, which is that 6 feet spacing between people, okay?
Right.
So we're trying to, again, just follow these guidelines as much as possible to keep our workforce healthy so we can come and help you in your time of need as well. You may hear the term coronavirus alert. This is something that the hospitals are using now. So this just was implemented today. As a matter of fact, I've got about 40 emails today about this one situation in particular. But if you hear the term coronavirus alert, so if we transport you to the hospital and you meet a certain criteria, so if you've been on a cruise ship lately, or if you've been on a plane lately and you have a temperature above 104 degrees, or 100.4 degrees, I'm sorry, and a few other certain trigger questions, we'll issue what's called a coronavirus alert. This is just saying that, this person may meet those symptoms that we're looking for, right, that the hospital's looking for. And all that does is just make sure that everybody at the hospital is wearing the proper PPE, the personal protective equipment. Make sure that we're wearing the proper PPE. The changes at the hospital you'll probably see is that instead of us taking you into the hospital and putting you in a hospital bed inside of the hospital doors, if we issue that coronavirus alert, they're going to be meeting us outside. We'll do that transfer outside, so everything's done kind of in the open air, more so than bringing you inside and possibly infecting other patients or that that situation. But again, the best news right now is that I'd like to reinforce we have 0 cases in Bradford County, so that's awesome news so far. Our dispatch has been great with helping us out. As soon as, again, they ask those questions, we get there on scene, we're going to ask those questions again. So if you get asked these same questions multiple times, don't be offended by it. We're all just trying to stay safe. We are requesting that instead of walking up to the station, if you have an issue, we're asking that you just call 911. We can come to you. That way, again, we have those screening questions in place. So instead of coming up to the station, if you don't want to inconvenience us or something like that, we've had people say that they drove up to the station because they didn't want to bother us, right? So instead of doing that, please just call 911 so we get those screening questions accomplished and we'll come to you. It's more convenient for you guys that way, right? So and then we do just ask that as far as just maintaining that social distancing, following those CDC guidelines, staying at home when you can. If you do have to go to the grocery store, try not to go at peak times. So try not to go, during those rush hour times at the grocery store when people are getting off work, things of that nature. So just try and be smart about it. That's the biggest thing is, I always tell my guys over there, just don't add chaos to chaos. It's a chaotic situation as it is. So there's no need to add chaos on top of it. So, I think that's the best thing is that we can tell people right now is just to stay calm, and if you have any questions, don't make up the answers, find the answers. So again, as Lieutenant Schuford mentioned earlier, the FloridaHealth.gov is a huge resource right now. They've got all kind of online tools you can use, maps that'll show you the cases if you're curious about those type things. But that's, again, just follow those resources, use those resources that are at your fingertips. If you call 911, we're coming to you, okay? Nothing's changed there. If you call 911, we are coming to you. That's the main thing to remember is that we're here for you, okay? And we may be dressed a little bit differently, and it may take us just a little bit longer to get there because we may have to put a little bit extra clothing on, a little bit extra PPE on. So, but there's nothing changed for us as far as if you call 911, we're sending somebody to you.
Still fully staffed, everything's ready to go right now at this point, correct?
Absolutely, and again, we're monitoring our staff daily, like with that checklist they have to do every day when they get there. We're monitoring their temperatures. If they are sick, we're asking them to stay home. We don't want you coming into work sick. And so far we've been, knock on wood, we've been lucky with everything. So we're just going to try and maintain that and just keep pushing through this. Again, there's so many unknowns we just don't have the answers to right now. So.
Let's say you have to go and let's say somebody can't get to a local emergency room and they call you guys and you see them with these particular symptoms. Somebody wanted to ask, are you bringing them to the local hospital or are you taking them straight to Shands UF or to North Florida Regional or wherever the case?
Right, so nothing has changed there either. We typically take people wherever they would like to go. Okay. And in these circumstances, again, nothing has changed. It depends on your symptoms, depends on which hospital we can take you to. Gotcha. Just as far as if you have a trauma case, if you're have broken a couple bones or things of that nature, we may have to take you to Shands in Gainesville, which is a trauma center, as opposed to the local hospital here. So again, nothing's changed there. We're still taking people where they would like to go as long as it's appropriate for their condition.
Again, Ben Carter from the EMS department right here. Mitchell, do you have a question for
Yeah, well, I just wanted to clarify, if you have an emergency, call 911. If it's a non-emergency, call 904-966-6161.
Gotcha.
Absolutely.
All right. Did you have a question, Dave? For Ben? How about any of our esteemed panel? Any questions for Ben?
Thank you guys for your life on the line.
Thank you.
Yeah, all the time. Thank you, Ben. We appreciate it.
I also had a question come in about how many tests have been performed in our area.
Yeah.
I just got information.
Yeah, if you can
Sure,
there you
absolutely.
go.
So that information is available on the Florida Department of Health website as well.
Right.
If you go on there, they actually have an interactive map you can get on, and it'll show you how many cases have been confirmed, even in the surrounding counties, the state of Florida. But it also shows how many tests have been taken, how many tests they've administered throughout the state of Florida, as well as each individual county, and it shows you the results of those. And obviously all of ours have been negative.
Right. Now, do they go to the health department for those tests, or they call their local doctors?
Right, so they call their local physician, their primary care physician. If for some reason, if we transport them to the hospital is going to go through those steps of getting a hold of the health department, things of that nature. If you have any questions, my best recommendation would be to call the health department because they do have the most up-to-date, best information for you at this time.
WebMD. Somebody said, that you could go to WebMD because, a lot of the doctors and the hospitals are full right now. They want to know what you know about WebMD and is it a reliable source where people can get a good update?
So Dr. Google could be a very dangerous thing sometimes. I would caution you because by the end of this, you're sitting at home right now and by the end of this, you may have some unknown disease, but again, the best thing I can recommend for you is to contact your local physician, your primary physician, Also, you know, contact the health department if you have any other issues.
That was, I thought that's what you were going to say, but I wanted them to hear it from you first, though. That's for sure. So
there was a comment made to a patient from a doctor. Patient went in not feeling good. The doctor did a flu test on the patient. The patient pulled up negative. So the doctor explained to her that she possibly could have the coronavirus because she has symptoms, but she's not positive on the flu.
Right.
You got any comment on that?
Right. So the flu and the coronavirus are two, you know, separate diseases. So if you could be positive for the flu and not have the coronavirus, or vice versa. You could have coronavirus and not have the flu also. So I know right now they're doing screenings to where if you go into the hospital, because the symptoms are very similar. So if you go into the hospital and you have these symptoms, they're going to test you for the flu first. And if that comes back negative, then they move to another test. If that comes back negative, then they're going to test you for the coronavirus. If you have these symptoms and you go into the hospital and your flu test comes back positive, they stop right there and they say, okay, you know, this is what's causing these symptoms.
Right.
You know, we can stop here. So that's, you know, that's the process in the hospitals right now, but that may have also changed within the last day or two. So
yeah, I think she was like confused, thinking that the test for the coronavirus wasn't dedicated just for that virus.
For the virus,
right.
I see.
Right. Okay. No, the coronavirus specifically tests for that specific strand of coronavirus, which is the COVID-19. So that test is specifically for that strand of the coronavirus.
One more question for you. How many tests does Bradford County have right now at this time?
I don't know that number off the top of my head. I'm sure I can look it up on my
test kits. Yes, test kits. Yes.
Again, I don't have that information. I would have to I have to contact the health department to find that information.
And we'll get you that answer. I promise you, viewer, we will get you that answer just as soon as we can get that. So, any more questions for Captain Ben Carter here?
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, man. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you for everything that you do as well. All right. At this time, I'd like to call a good friend of mine up here, Mr. D.K. Bennett, if he'll come up from the Bradford County Fire. He's fire director here in Bradford County. Great friend of ours, always tunes into our show. Thank you. Hey, we're doing fine. Thank you, Mr. Bennett. We really appreciate you coming on. Can you tell us what's going on within the fire department throughout the county? Just give us a little update on what's going on and what you got planned up here within the next month or 2 months, as we know this epidemic or pandemic, if you want to call it, is here, and the unknown is the main thing here. But what's your pattern and what you will be doing here in the next couple of months?
Relative to the virus, what we're doing is, as the sheriff said, the stations are staffed, but they're in lockdown for visitors.
Right.
We're trying to keep our staff safe. We're following the health department protocols on our medical responses. We have limited the amount of people that we're sending in concert with our EMS personnel.
Right.
On the other side of the coin there, for the fire rescue, we've had a very, very active month. We've had several brush fires. We've had some unpermitted burning. Some of those has even moved into where it got away from them, burn a boat up, burn a shed up. We was very unfortunate the other night. We had a fatality in a house fire. We do not know definitively yet what happened. That's still under investigation in the State Fire Marshal's office. Initial thinking is unattended cooking. That's a pretty common thing, unattended cooking. If you're going to cook, dedicate yourself to it. Ensure that you've got your smoke detectors, batteries are active and they're working. Getting back to the outdoor burning, be sure that we use some common sense. March is a windy month.
Right.
Let's don't be burning it when the wind is gusting. If we're going to do any burning at all, let's do it smartly, not when it's a windy situation, and take preparations, have a water hose, some extinguishing agent. The two or three that we've been to so this month, they've been burning, got out of control, no way to extinguish it, and waiting on a 8 to 10 to 12 minute fire department response and we see the results of it. So, in the home, be sure that you do not have unattended cooking. Be sure your smoke detector's up to speed. Utilize good housekeeping methods and stay smart. On the outside, don't burn when it's windy. Make sure that if you are going to burn, that you've got the proper means to extinguish it. Just do it smartly and stay safe.
And one of those things is you don't burn in a ditch, for one. That's one thing you do not do.
That's right. That would do it smartly.
That's right. Yeah. And then right now we're in a pattern where there's very little moisture in the air because of the humidity rate. So right now we should not be burning.
We had wanted to issue a burn ban, but we're not able to do that because the Department of Forestry weighs in on that. We're very, very close to that. So what we've done is gone out and encouraged people not to burn if they don't have to.
Right. Okay, so that's good. You're hearing it right here. Any plans on the station out on 21? Any news on it, and what do you know about it as far as it?
Station on 21, as we know, we've had some fire suppression issues there.
Right.
We entered into a 3-year plan of action to bring that up to speed. In fact, we just met with the county commission the other day, the city manager. That is still online, and we're looking forward to getting that into a budgetary process to bring that up to speed with the National Fire Protection Association's code, NFPA 13 code.
Good deal. All right. Any other questions?
No, I just want to appreciate y'all's hard work that y'all do for our community. It's a real hard job, and I know right now personnel it's kind of rough.
Got a plan of action working that out as we speak.
But and that's the thing.
This is an upstart program. We've been very fortunate in the 10 months we've been active. We've been able to respond. Sometimes it's almost like pulling a rabbit out of the hat, and we're getting short of rabbits right now. But we do have a plan of action to continue responding and to meet our manpower needs.
Well, I appreciate everything you all done. I appreciate y'all moving forward with Fire Station 20 and getting that up within the next 3 years. So really do appreciate it.
There's been some comment through the town that we're understaffed on volunteers.
That's correct, sir. And that predominantly comes by the state statute, which requires 400 contact hours to be a firefighter 2. You can be a firefighter 1 and not enter the hot zone and still give us support. You can bring tankers to us. You can bring rehab units to us. There's a lot of things you can do. But in order to go into the hot zone, you must have 400 contact hours to be a firefighter 2. What that amounts to is getting in your vehicle, going to Lake City, St. Augustine, or Ocala, 40 hours a week, 2.5 months to get a certificate that you don't get paid for. The legislature, probably by design, has cut the head off where the body would die. They want to move into paid fire departments, and that's made it very, very cumbersome for the local volunteers to do it. And that's where we are with that one. It's not a lack of desire by our people to help the community. It's a statutory thing, it's just not economically. They're not able to take off 2.5 months on their own time and away from their family.
So if you want to be a volunteer firefighter with everything that's going on right now, Mr. Bennett, can they still do that? Or do you want them to wait? What is the protocol?
We are seeking each and every day to recruit volunteer firefighters.
Okay. And they can contact you. How can they?
They can go on the sheriff's website and fill out an application. They can come here to the fire station, to the sheriff's office, and get an application.
Okay. All right.
All right.
We appreciate you, Mr. Bennett. Thank you very much. We appreciate what you do. Now I'm going to bring up my main man. Come on up here, Mr. Tillman.
Before we do that, can we give you a late breaking update?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
I'm bring our emergency manager. Just got something hot off the press while we're here.
All right. Well, hey, Mr. Tillman can go right up there and join us. Buddy up there.
Come on. Come on, John Ryan.
Hey, I appreciate you having me back up here. I just wanted to tell you just a little while ago. Governor DeSantis issued Executive Order number 2072, number 72 this time, and this one addresses hospitals and some procedures. So if you give me just a second, I'm going to try to get this up and read it for everyone. Because of the foregoing conditions and based on recommendations from the Department of Health and the Agency for Healthcare Administration by reason of the conditions arising from this emergency, the Governor says, I hereby employ the following measures and direct as follows. All hospitals, ambulatory surgical centers, office surgery centers, dental, orthodontic, and endodontic offices, and other healthcare practitioners' offices in the state of Florida are prohibited from providing any medically unnecessary, non-urgent, or non-emergency procedure or surgery, which if delayed does not place a patient's immediate health, safety, or well-being at risk, or will, if delayed, not contribute to the worsening of a serious or life-threatening medical condition. Accordingly, all healthcare practitioners licensed in the state of Florida, including dentists, shall immediately cease performing these elective services.
Wow.
As articulated in the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services recommendation, examples of procedures to delay may include, but are not limited to, some endoscopy, most cataract and lens surgeries, non-urgent spine and orthopedic procedures, and cosmetic procedures. So this is something that just came out. Any elective or non-emergent medical procedures have been suspended by the governor effective immediately.
Okay, you heard it right here first, ladies and gentlemen, right here. Ms. Schubert, thank you very much again. Late breaking news right there. Now I'm going to bring up a good friend of mine, Mr. J.R. Tillman, man. He runs the Bradford County Telegraph over there, does a wonderful job. I know we try to work together as much as we can, Mr. Tillman, and we appreciate what you do. We appreciate what you and your paper has done, and we just want to thank you for all the work that you put in for the county.
Well, hey, we thank you, David, for having us. My granddad still calls all the shots, and I'm just blessed to work with him. Something the Bradford County Telegraph, the Lake Region Monitor, and the Union County Times wants to do for local restaurants. We know you're hurting. We're running an advertising campaign. It's called Businesses Helping Businesses. Absolutely. And we have a lot of people who have sponsored it. So we're going to give each one of you guys an ad that's going to have your business hours and one promotion in it. Guys, I urge everybody in Bradford County, if you can, go out and spend a few dollars in your local community. The more people we can keep working, the more we're going to keep helping out our local economy, guys. We want to have a strong local economy, and we want to keep people working so they can pay their bills and they can take care of their families. And I love Bradford County, and I love being part of our community. And we're going to come back stronger from this than we've ever been. Thank you so much for having me, Mr. David.
Hey, thank you, Ms. Tillman. We appreciate it. Thank you. Lovely wife was here as well. And if there's anything we can do to help, you just let us know. I do want to, we got some questions on here I do want to go over. Glad that y'all can stay. We really appreciate the esteemed panel here. Most of our elected officials and people of importance are here, not only to bring you the information that they know, but to answer as many questions as you guys have. Yes, the the bypass is still in full effect. So that's going on. And the city softball and baseball, you heard from our city manager, has been postponed. It's still going to be, hopefully, going on. But they will let y'all know if that does cancel at a later date. Michelle Starling said, when we pick up school assignments, will there be pickup staggering by last name, grade, etc.? You can, or you can answer from that. Probably up here, probably better. Either way. So, yeah, we're trying to get our volume up here a little bit.
All right, so I'll try to use my cheerleader voice.
Yeah, use your cheerleader voice. Thank you.
When you go to the schools to pick up the packets, there's actually, Evelyn Chastain created a tracking form for each student, so we will know exactly which student picked up a packet, and that will help us identify who still needs to have a packet delivered to them over the next couple of days. So Monday, all the elementary packets should be in the school by 10 o'clock. The middle school packets should be there by 2 o'clock. Our print shop person, Melissa Underhill, has done a phenomenal job this week. She's kept those printers running. They are ready to go. And then once we have that, we'll be tracking that daily till we know that everybody's got the packet that they need. The packet comes with instructions for the parents that will help them with the assignment. It'll have information on numbers to call if you get stuck. So we've done everything we can to get instruction started again come Monday.
That's great.
They won't need to stagger it by their name. Everybody is on the list for that school, and it's in alphabetical order by grade level, by last name. So we'll find it very easily.
Felicia Marie Simon said, and I think we answered this a little bit, is the parks being closed a state mandated or just county mandated right now? Sheriff?
Absolutely.
And the sheriff will get up here to answer that. She wants to know if is the parks that are being closed a state mandated or just county
right
mandated?
Now the state's encouraging us, the Department of Health. Playgrounds have a lot of areas that are being touched, handled, and a lot of cities, municipalities don't want to have time to clean. So a lot of these cities are going out and cleaning, giving time to give, kids are kids. They're germal. I mean, it's right. It is what it is. So right now, the city of Lawry's made that decision till they get things like in the condition they need. Has closed theirs. All county parks are still open. The city is, but they've canceled all their athletic activities up until not canceled, but postponed until May. Right. They're still encouraged. We're hoping to get over the hump. We want to get our kids out there, man. It's going to be time to come out, and I'm looking for that excitement in our county. We say cancel, a lot of times we mean postpone. I can see in the future, our near winter going into the fall weather, we're going to have a lot of events on the calendar to make up for it. And I'm excited for that. So I had a question earlier about PPEs.
Yes.
In regards to it. So I talked to Captain Ben over here. And I'm going to tell you, Ben, I can't thank y'all enough for what you and Alan and your staff and over at EMS.
Yes.
Those people, man, we got an A-team here in Bradford County with our EMS units and what they do over there. They're the best in the state. So if you get called, and they're really stepping up. But PPEs was asked, orders through them, it's through Captain Ron over there at EMS. Right now we have plenty. I can tell you that through ordering and stuff to our emergency management, Miss Wendy and them have put on reference to putting it in the system. We have to put it in requesting more stuff, and it's coming.
Here's another question. When will and you stay up there, Sheriff, when will we know when our children's work is ready? I have heard we should be getting emails, and this particular lady and ladies have not seen an email yet.
Okay, it will come out, you're talking about when the work is ready?
Correct. Right.
So, we're announcing it here today, and we're going to put the details on Facebook and on our website.
So the details will be on Facebook and on their website about when you can get your children's
If you've not got that email, I can tell you, update it. Make sure you've updated it with your kids. Every year they send out at the beginning of the school year, they give you that list of things. And I remember every year with 2 kids in school, you spend a lot of time filling out all those forms. If you haven't got it, contact your office up there at the school board. Make sure they've got your updated email, because a lot of times, that's a situation. We've got to keep that updated. They're using what they got. Maybe they entered the wrong character. It could be anything. It could be something minor. But make sure they've got it updated. If you hadn't received an email from them yet, they've sent out a lot of information. Please call up to their front office, and I guarantee their staff will update that and put you in the system.
And ladies and gentlemen, I see that Teresa has done it. I know, Sheriff, you've done it. If they're seeing a question come across, they're responding to that question. So, Teresa, I appreciate you answering that particular lady's question. So, as they see it, they're answering the question as well, because we're trying to get everybody on that we need to speak and also get the questions in as well.
I've never seen as many questions come across.
Me neither.
Like I say, we'll spend, I can tell you, the next couple hours.
We'll do it.
Done. I've seen the school staff over there answering questions. School staff, the clerk's office, the tax collector's office, they're answering those questions, and my staff's trying to answer some of the questions. So if you got a question, even afterwards, people, we're going to be spending time trying to answer those questions. We'll be bringing this back to you next week. We're coming.
We'll actually be on tomorrow night, so you're going to be on with us tomorrow night right there at 7 o'clock. So
7 o'clock, I'll be on with you. We'll answer some more of those questions. So what we don't know, we're going to find out.
Well, our esteemed colleague, Mr. Byron Bagwell, that y'all know joins us. He couldn't be here tonight. He's fighting a sinus infection. God bless him. I hope he gets better. But he wants to know about the homeless. What's the contingency plan for the homeless? in case something really comes down? Do we know?
Well, absolutely. It's easy for here. We don't have many. We do with them from time to time. We have people that pass through. We have people that leave our halfway house that we have here in the county. Yeah. We do give them lists to either Duval or to Alachua County to get them to a known shelter that is funded, get them someplace safe. We've had to put people up, but yes, we deal with them on a come as they are basis, and we deal with that. Also, I spoke with Captain Ben Carter earlier when someone put a question out there, said their husband was tested for the fluid, it came back negative, but they didn't do anything else. Well, they got to meet certain conditions and requirements before they take those further steps.
Right.
The medical staff is depending on that. So don't panic. We've had, like I say, once again, it keeps popping up that people say there's a known, there has been no positive test within Bradford County. But I can assure you this, if we get one, we'll be notified immediately. We're then going to notify our community immediately because it steps up our process of what we do.
Right.
And concerns. And we want to keep our people informed. Stay to your local sites. If it's a school issue, follow the school. I know everybody goes to Facebook. Go to that Facebook site for your school.
Yes.
If you ask a question, we're all alert to it right now. We're a little more responsive right now because we have so many things going on. I'm up till 10, 11 at night trying to answer questions. I can tell you that the Telegraph, John Ryan reaches out. If he wants to know something, he reaches out. If Chuck Kramer at WEAG, Chuck is calling and saying, hey, what's the deal on this?
Yes, he is.
We are trying to answer those questions. I cannot tell you enough of the staff at Emergency Medical Services, to Emergency Management, to your Sheriff's Office, to the Police Department. I can tell you that your law enforcement, I don't know how many times we call each other a day. It's between that and back and forth, and your Emergency Medical Services people, between Allen and Emergency Management and the Chief Bennett, that with these services, these people stay in contact routinely. It's more now so than ever,
right? Because
there's so many questions, and we don't want misinformation. So we're validating, we're verifying. I can tell you that the staff, Ben, and we all know Ben. We got to have him singing live or something.
Yeah, we got.
We can't go see him now.
Yeah.
I don't know how many events he's had canceled, so we're got to go live with him, make him sing, so we can.
Maybe he can sing here.
You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things. So we're blessed to have him and the staff over there, an A team. So I can't brag enough with the staff you have here. We're going to stick to your local media.
Right.
Go to your local people that you know. Quit reading the stuff and the gossip and the rumors on the social media. Go to your source. Your local media will give it to you as it is. And these people have a direct line. See, when you call the Telegraph, you call the On the Spot, you call
you got it.
They've got our phone number. They're going to pick it up and they're going to call you directly and they're going to get you an answer.
I gotcha. Sheriff, man, I'm telling you what, I just got my hand slapped. I forgot one of the most important people in this building. If I could have her come on up here, maybe she won't slap me on the way by. The county manager, right? Where's she at? She's back there. She's coming. She's probably, yeah, she does. Okay.
Responsibility.
Well, Miss
Please tell me I'm not in trouble.
No, sir.
All right, thank you.
Best for last.
Yeah, best for last, right? So we got our county manager up here.
Before we get started, I had a question about internet service. Just want to put it out there right now that Xfinity is now hooking up people and giving them free internet at this time, so those children have access to get on their Chromebooks or the laptops. So if you can get that service done for your household, I would do that. It will help your child out a lot. So move forward while it's free. I think it's 60 days that they're giving it free service. So,
Ms. Rachel Roden with us, interim county manager. Thank you for coming on with us. I saved the best for last.
Well, thank you, sir.
There you go. So, what's the county doing? What's just like I asked everybody else, what's the procedures right now? What's going on with the county? Any anticipations of closures or anything that's going to be postponed or held up or anything? Just give us a little bit of information of what's going on there.
Yes, sir. Great question. County operations are still running. We have closed down our senior center and we have closed down our library. Our library was getting a significant amount of foot traffic. We were getting anywhere from 400 to 500 people a day at the library. What was happening, our surrounding counties, they were closing their libraries, and we were receiving those visitors. So it was a concern for us, but we have closed the doors to the public, but we are still operational to the fullest extent possible.
We're going to look at programs that we can stream, as we're doing today, through Facebook.
Right.
We have a lot of online services that you can utilize, checking out books online. Our folks are at the library. They're ready to pick up your call and walk you through that process. I'm going to try to talk a little louder, so I apologize.
There you go.
Our senior center is closed, and part of that reason, obviously, that's the most vulnerable group with regards to the COVID-19, and it made sense to us as a safety precaution to go ahead and close our senior center. Diane Gaskins, who manages our senior center, she's going to look at ways to implement programs, live stream through Facebook, so check her out. We'll still try to do Zumba and Tai Chi, chair Tai Chi, so she is available. She is looking at how she can still implement programs online. Our goal is obviously the safety of our citizens and our staff, while still trying to maintain services for our folks. Our other departments are a little smaller, so we don't have as much foot traffic coming through those departments, so we're still open. We have implemented safety precautions for our own staff. We have inspections that are being performed by our building officials. He knows to contact our emergency department before he goes out to these sites to determine, is there any flags that I need to be aware of before I perform an inspection. So we have a lot of safety procedures in place that our sheriff and our EM director has assisted us with. We're following our CDC guidelines, so we're just trying to put the best practice forward. But our parks are still open. Speedville Park, Lincoln City Park, Pleasant Grove Park. Those parks are open, and we would just ask people, use your best judgment. Wash your hands. Cough on your arm. Try to use your best judgment there. But we're looking to our folks here for guidance and direction. They've been wonderful, and we appreciate our emergency folks very much. Thank you.
We thank you, and I'll tell you, if there's anything that we can ever do for you, we will love to have you on the show one day as well, so you can be our guest. But we want to thank you for coming on. Thank you for enduring all this, and it's been a great question and answer period so far. I've got a lot of questions still here that I'm going to try to get through, but I want to thank everybody that's been watching the show today. We've gotten a lot of great information out there, a lot of great people speaking, letting you know what's going on. And you can visit, as the sheriff said, all these guys' websites and their pages. Like you said, sometimes, you go to it may not be accurate, but go to their website, go to their email addresses and their informational source, and you should be able to get the correct information from any of these departments that are being represented here today.
Absolutely, and I want to remind people, if you've not registered for emergency alerts, if we were to get a positive test back in Bradford County, the things that we have to do, go to Bradford Sheriff, bradfordsheriff.org. On the left-hand side of the page, you'll see a thing that says Everbridge. You can register your phone number, you can register your email. Please get on there. It's good for weather events, it's good for hurricane updates, it's good if something important is happening in your neighborhood, if it's a boil of water. But most importantly right now, if we get something that's urgent into our area, that our community needs to be notified, you will get it immediately. It will go to your phone in a text, it can go to your phone in an email, and your home phone and your cell phone can all be rung to give you that notification.
Wow.
Go on that, bradfordsheriff.org. But I want to give you some information that John Ryan left off that's very important. And with the Telegraph. And it's to update you that if things were to get bad and they quarantine people in the home, you're still going to be able to get your payment.
Yes, you are.
They're going to go
Yes, they are.
They'll do it electronically. They do it now. If you hadn't been there, you go to startjournal.com. That's startjournal.com. And they'll keep you up because they're going to make sure you get that local news. They've been here for, I'm not going to tell you how long. It's been a long time.
Been a long time, hasn't it?
With the Bradford Telegraph, still the sweetest strawberries this side of heaven.
That's right.
They're going to be doing free help wanted ads. If you got somebody, you need somebody, you want to post, you need some people to work, they're doing that for you. Get it in down there. If you're needing some help, get it to them. And if you got a positive event or something you want to share, email it to them. Down at the editor, the Telegraph. Or you go to the startjournal.com, follow the link, get that picture in, get that bit of information, get it in.
I like what they're doing for the restaurants, what he said earlier. You
They're
know,
doing it all the time.
They've been doing it, and it sounds like they're going to even be doing it more.
It's a family tradition.
Yes, it
Of
is.
serving the community. So I want to reach out. And Chuck Kramer, they do it. I'm telling you, y'all, we've got great sources for here in our community. If you tune into them, you'll get through all the muck.
Right.
And you'll get to the facts.
That's right.
So I want to say that out there. We got anything else? Any more questions?
Yeah, well, he's got a little something, and I do have a couple of other questions that are still coming in. So I'm glad these people are still sticking around. I want to thank you.
Well, they want to make sure the community gets what they need.
Absolutely.
Well, I just want to let everyone know the mayor of Hampton said that their office will be closed to the public, but they will still be there working. And if you have any questions, you can call at 352-468-1201. Again, 352-468-1201.
Had somebody ask me, here's a little fun, just to bring a little light, wanted me to ask you, Sheriff, can they hunt off season since there's no food on the shelf?
Good. I can tell you. I'm trying to give you a politically correct answer.
I know you are.
I can tell you this. If your sheriff's hungry, I'm hunting. Come get me game warden. That need to be hunting. You know, this is time to spend outside with your family. But no, I think all the rules are still in place.
Yeah, they are.
You know, turkey season starts tomorrow. Turkey season starts tomorrow. I think that governor's order might have just came in on that. Let me see.
See if that governor, yeah, see if the governor's order came in.
I love my turkey hunting. I mentioned how much I love my turkey. Get some and share with us. Share with your neighbor. Take your child out. Spend some time with your kids. Take them turkey hunting with you. And remember, help feed your neighbors.
That's right. Yep.
Wow. And we got a question from the back.
Okay, question from the back.
I don't have a question. I have a statement.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's please not forget the food bank.
Yes.
You know, they are, you know, they provide a wonderful service to people here in our community. Let's do whatever we can to keep them supplied.
Amen.
Yeah, amen. The food bank for sure.
Barry, I can't thank you enough for that. That really, that's a good thought. Your food bank, your local food bank. If you're going through there's a lot of stuff you just hadn't. Remember those that are in need. The food bank has been overwhelmed.
Yes, it has.
People are home during the day. They're not, you know, they're used to getting certain things out of procedure. You got kids hemmed up in the house. If you got a couple kids in the house, they'll eat everything you've got in a matter of minutes sometimes.
Yes.
So just remember that if you got something there, if you got to make a little donation, make it to the food pantry. They are feeding the hungry in this community every day.
Right. And I wanted to mention something when we speak of our children. As parents, we should take our kids and sit them down and let them know what's going on, and so they're not, you know, worried about it. I know with my youngest one, it's kind of funny because, you know, we was going to go to Gator Nationals and then we was going to go to the beach. You know what he says? Daggum coronavirus ruin everything. But it's very important that we sit down with these children and let them know what's going on, and so we take that anxiety factor off of them. They don't need to be worried about it. They need to be kids and play and enjoy their time off.
They do, and I'm telling you, even the older kids, they're watching too much social media.
Right.
They've come up with some things. They get panicked. When I've got my own kids that are grown, asking questions, you're like, why would they ask that? Just be mindful. Be honest. Okay.
Hey, I do have something for Cindy Grace Calloway. She said for those working at home, the students working at home, Sheree, that she's has a bad feeling about, of course, our internet, our center, and I know we're getting those questions from everybody, and everybody has those concerns because she says they're slow and unreliable. Well, we've addressed that there's going to be where you can go into the parking lot, right, of these schools to be able to at least sit there for a while to be able to get your work done, right?
To get the work done. And there are parents who don't have cars. We have a lot of people without transportation.
Right.
And any way to get there. So at the end of the day, we have 3 full 9 weeks of grades. We have other progress monitoring data. We are going to push education forward, get grades as much as we can, but nobody is going to be penalized if they are having difficulty accessing the internet, because we know how hard that is here.
Good.
And I did notate that to another viewer a while ago, that those children would not be punished.
And somebody will be reaching out and answering some of those questions that may not have been able to hear that.
Right.
We'll reiterate that again. If you follow through the feed, you'll find some of that. But I know people come on and off watching this.
Hey, I tell you, A lot of people are commenting, ladies and gentlemen. Again, thank y'all for being here, and thanks for the ones that stayed. I know some other people had things they had to go do, but they are really giving us some great applause and a great compliment on what we're doing here, getting some information out. I would like to say before we go into some more questions, if you know of any elderly people that's not getting this information, please find a way to get them this information, and also please find a way to help the elderly. That's who really is being really affected by this. I know it's you know, we hear cases of younger children, but people with illnesses or former illnesses and the elderly, it's affected. So let's figure out a way where we can help our elderly and get the information and the supplies they need. That's what we were talking about, hoarding the stores. You know, look, take what you need, but there is people that is in more need, I guarantee you, than you are that could use this stuff. And we definitely want to get
You're really right. I mean, if you hadn't talked to your neighbors, and we got neighbors that live beside each other, hadn't talked to each other in years.
Yeah.
If you know they're elderly, it's your time to go over and say, hey, I'm going to town. Can I get you something? Hey, can I order you something? A lot of them are not social savvy. Check with your neighbors. Check in on them. Let's be the good neighbor right here in our community. Let's show everybody else whatever the other county should be.
Right.
Yep.
And I want to iterate, if you came on to the show real late, if you'll give it just a few minutes, you'll be able to start it from the beginning, and you may be able to get a lot of your questions answered. That we have already discussed ahead of time.
And we're also on YouTube now, so we have upgraded, as the lieutenant said, from the time, the very first time we came in. Just a quick story, but we'll get on. But very first time we go, man, we can't even get the camera on this computer. All of a sudden now, look where we've gone to. We've gone to live TV. Now we've gone to YouTube. So you can go back and watch this either on Facebook Live and YouTube or both. So you'll be able to catch the show. And again, we'll be on tomorrow night as well at 7 o'clock. Hopefully from here, Sheriff, one of the rooms there, and you'll be a guest with us as well. I do have a question. It says, my daughter is fixing to fly back from Hawaii. Should she self-isolate?
It would be recommended, just since being on the plane and stuff like that. But if anything, she just needs to watch for symptoms. But especially if she's got elderly family or anything like that around, it's definitely not a bad idea for her to self-isolate. Again, that's probably being very over cautious, but again, we'd rather overshoot than undershoot during these times.
And she says that she lives with 3 other people. Should she self-isolate herself from the 3 other people that's in the household as well?
Are you talking about the daughter coming back?
Yes,
I would. Just to be safe, I think, that 14-day isolation period is just very, an overabundance of caution. But again, I think during these times, it's better to be cautious than not. So.
Tracy, I hope that answered your question right there on that. So let's see. Self-isolation is encouraged. I wonder who wrote that. That's our that's our sheriff that did that. Let me see here. Just going through. If they are thinking of doing online schooling and the student has CenturyLink, it is very unreliable. My speed slows at certain times throughout the day and will constantly pause. Again, you just heard Ms. Sheree Alvarez representing the school district says they understand that you are not going to get penalized because you cannot get on the internet. They have enough grades, they have enough statistics to be able to move forward, so you will not be penalized. But I think, Sheree, y'all are trying to encourage students, let's keep up with our schoolwork if you can. If it's feasible, again,
if they really can't get online, they need to contact the school because their work is going to continue to be graded.
Right.
So we want to make sure that we're aware of all the challenges. So if somebody truly cannot access the internet, please let us know.
All right. So again, I think let's see. Sheriff, I think that's about it really right here. You got one more?
Got one question.
Okay.
This one is, how do they count the positive test? Do they ping it on that website by the residents? That's what I thought, instead of the actual test place. So if they went over to Gainesville and they got tested there and they got a positive, and it actually will show up at their address.
Bradford County.
It will show up as Bradford County.
It will show up as Bradford County. We're not, the address of the subject will not be released. It will come back to Bradford County.
Right. It will show it in Bradford.
Because it doesn't matter, because here, You could go to the local emergency room and they send you to Shands or North Florida or wherever, St. Vincent's. And what happens is when they come back, they're going to gather more information than you care to give.
Right.
And
Right.
if you test positive, it sets a lot of things into play that most people don't understand. I mean, in reference being quarantined, they got to check everybody you come into contact. It creates a large, major investigation of anybody you came into contact with. So, with that being said, you know, everybody said, well, I heard this or I heard that. Look, Florida Department of Health has one of the best sites to go to. It's updated. We usually get that call within minutes. That thing's, hey, you just had a test. And you go check. I said, dang, they've already got it on the site.
Right.
They have, I'm telling you, those people at that Department of Health here for Bradford and Union County have worked tirelessly to keep everybody informed. And they're doing it all around the state of Florida. We're fortunate to live in this great state where the Department of Health is really strong.
Yeah, boy, you ain't kidding, especially within our county. There was a question asked about the hospitals being still business as usual, right?
Again, they may just do these screenings before they let you in. Obviously, visitations have been cut down. So that may change based on each individual hospital. But I mean, if you have an emergency, go to the emergency room. There's no difference there.
All right, and how about somebody asked about visiting the elderly, as you were just saying, in the nursing homes and things like that. Has that been?
That's still on lockdown.
That's still on lockdown, right?
The governor has had executive orders in place.
Yep.
That they won't visit at the nursing home. It's sad because that's where our loved ones are.
That's our loved ones, right?
Because we love our loved ones, we have to have an understanding that it's just not you we're worried about. It's somebody coming in. It may not be you, but if they let that one person in and it contaminates, we've read the horror stories what it can do in a nursing home facility.
Could you repeat as well about the restaurants? What's going on with the restaurants?
Right now, the restaurants, if you came on late into the show, you'll find out that the governor executive order this afternoon, around 1:30, declared that all dining areas must be closed. Not the 50% anymore, they're closing them.
Right.
You can still order takeout, they can still do curbside, the employees are still allowed to go to work to cook. You can also have, if they're a restaurant that serves alcoholic beverages, you can order it just like you would, but you must have an ID upon delivery and proof that you're a person that's 21 years of age or older to receive that beverage. So please, if you're hungry, you're worried about your food, if you can afford it, not everybody can afford it. That's another issue. That's at our federal government level. But if you can, and instead of going out, or if you were going to go out anyway, order from that restaurant.
Right.
Preferably local.
Right.
You know, somebody that your neighbor, you know, an own business. Give them some love.
Right.
Let's do it.
Yeah, and you know, there's so many. I'd hate to start naming them because I'm gonna leave one off, and I don't want to make some. But all our restaurants here, please go and visit them. Look, there's plenty of restaurants for all of us to go. Split up at different times. I guarantee you're not gonna have to wait 20, 30 minutes. It'll be ready. So please go visit our local establishments. They're all great places to eat. We've eaten at many of them after the shows, and all of them are great places to eat. And yeah, well, that's what happened to me too. So, but please visit those, and please keep visiting our local business. Somebody asked me what's the curfew and what's the if there's restricted hour for our businesses right now. There is not.
Right now we have no curfew.
Right.
No curfew in Bradford County.
Right.
The restrictions of 10 or more. I can tell you that all the local businesses, if you need something hardware, hey, dads, moms, if you're home, that thing you've been wanting to hang, that one picture, that one thing you've been wanting to put together, that one yard project, go visit your local Jacksons. That's right. Yates Hardware, you know, your Tractor Supply. Give them some love. Go get that project completed. You got the time.
Right. Yes, you do. All right, Sheriff, if anybody doesn't have anything else, I want to thank all my esteemed colleagues here, our very important people here, our elected officials to very important positions here. Guys, I cannot thank you enough for coming on and doing this with us right here. If you want to go back and watch it, you can go back and watch it on YouTube and Facebook Live again. You can see the replay of this. Sheriff, I just can't thank you enough for opening up your doors here at the EOC, along with your great staff, Mr. Schubert and everybody that was involved. I'll tell you what, it's just been a great deal. We appreciate you letting us use this building each and every week when you can for us to be able to do our show. All we're doing here, Sheriff, is trying to get the information out. We love our community. as people can see, and we just want to give back a little bit. And if this is the way to do it, this is the way we want to do
I'll
it.
leave you with two things. It's better in Bradford.
Yes, it is.
And remember, we care.
And that's exactly right. So thank you guys. God bless you. We will be on tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. You're going to be on with us, right, Sheriff? We're going to answer some more questions. So we're going to put that out on the page as well. If you need any information for any of the individuals that were here, you can go and visit their sites as well. They'll be more than glad to talk to you. Some of the nicest people in Bradford County is sitting in this room right here. They're very personable. You can go up and talk to them just like you would me or anybody else. So please take advantage of that. And again, we'll be on at 7 o'clock tomorrow from one of the rooms here, right, Sheriff, possibly?
Absolutely.
All right, so from now, on behalf of Mr. Mitchell Gunner, Mr. Byron Bagwell, who couldn't be with us, Mr. Dave Holland, our producer, everybody that was here today, Sheriff Gordon Smith, and myself, I'm your host, Mr. David Rogers. Tune in for On the Spot with David Rogers tomorrow night. We'll recap what we talked here and some other things going on as well. God bless you guys. We love you, Bradford County. Please stay safe. Please stay positive, and we'll all get through this thing like we should and like we always do.
Thank you.